Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I'm your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Aspinall. And joining me through Discord, as always, it is the man, the myth, the legend. It is the tank top sage. It is Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
Well, it's called Partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
You're muted, I think. Come on, not very sagely of you.
Bring it back.
Zip, zip, zip.
What's
zip,
up, everybody?
Zip, zip, zip.
What's good? What up, Chris? What's good, everybody listening? What's up, Brian, in advance? Yeah, I skipped over you, Chris, because I had to make up in some way. This is one hell of a week.
Oh, yeah. We got a big week. And joining us for this big week, it is our producer. It is my little brother. It is Edgelord Big News Brian.
What's up, nerds?
Hey, hey, hey. Oh, right. We have 8 series to talk about today. So, and some of them have 2 chapters to them. So let's not waste any motherfucking time. Let's get into plugs really fast. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
At JD_Cole_37, like on the helmet. That's at Instagram. And the Twitter is at New Jump City Josh.
Oh, yeah. Brian?
You can find me at b.esp on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you ever want to catch me when I'm streaming, you can find me at twitch.tv/itspunchline.
Oh, yeah. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us on Twitter, especially because we do a really good chapter of the week poll. But not on Twitter this week. I wanted to experiment. YouTube has allowed us to kind of do polls on the YouTube channel, so we were experimenting a little bit with that. I believe we do have a winner, which is exciting. So tune in and we'll let you know. Subscribe to the YouTube so that you can cast your vote on your favorite chapter of the week, and we announce it on this week's show. But follow us on all the socials anyway, because why not? You can email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. That will be pretty cool. You can subscribe to us again on the YouTube if you so wish, and you can comment underneath the video if you so feel like you need to say something. Let us know what you guys think about the show, about the chapters that we talk about, whether it's on the highlight version of the podcast that we make for you guys every week, or the full version of the podcast that we put out. If you prefer audio podcasts, you can catch us wherever you listen to podcasts: Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Pandora, Amazon Music. Check us out on that. But yeah, I think that's it as far as plugs go, right? I think we're done. Without further ado, let's get this fucking show started. One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1065, 6 Vegapunks. It's been 2 weeks since we had One Piece, and last we left off with One Piece, the Straw Hats are just kind of disembarking on the island of Egghead, where the genius scientist known as Vegapunk lives. We learned that he is basically 6 different people all at once. He seems to have divided his consciousness up between these 6 mecha people, these robot people, and we're getting to know all of them now. They seem to inhabit different parts of his personality or his being as a person. So that's been very excited. We've seen that there is pacifistas on this island in the shape of Bartholomew Kuma, who is the father of Jewelry Bonnie, one of the 11 supernovas. And yeah, that's so far all we've learned. We've met a couple of the Vegapunks. We know Lilith. We know what's the 5th one? The evil one? No, evil one is Lilith. Atlas is the 5th one, and
You have a great memory.
It literally just came back to me. I nearly lost it, but Atlas and Lilith.
I remember violence.
Yeah, and we have Shaka, who we haven't seen in full figure yet, but Yeah, we've seen him around, and he seems to have ties to Dragon in some way or form. And now we open with this chapter. Zoro and Brook have stayed behind to guard the ship. We see that Caribou is there, and he's just like, they basically tell him to fuck off. It's like, get off our ship, and he's like, I said that I would like get off on the next island, but bro, this is a fucking government island. This is Fed Island here. Please don't leave me here. And honestly, one of my favorite panels of the chapter is Zoro looking at it. He's like, "Hey, you helped our captain in Wano. Thanks. Get off now." I thought it was like really fun.
Right. Would you rather get off at this island or die?
Yeah, I'll just
That's the
cut you,
vibe I
bro.
was getting from Zoro.
Yeah, that's basically the vibe. We cut to the Straw Hats that are with Lilith. That'll be Nami, Usopp, Frankie, and Robin and Sanji. And they're following him to the mainland of Vegapunk. I believe the Labo phase. It's what it is. What it's called. Oh, I said Frankie was with them, right? I may have left
Yes.
someone out, but anyway. So they go up this escalator. I guess escalators aren't really super common in the One Piece universe, so they're just kind of marveling at it. Lilith reveals that the island is pretty much like powered on fire. They're using like the various the conversion of fire into energy to basically as a natural resource, which is pretty cool. Lilith seems to walk directly through a gate without really it opening, and that's part of the technology as well. They just phase through it. They seem to have phased through a different door entirely, because by the time they pull through, Lilith is gone and has disappeared completely. I think that's what they're going for. Lilith either just kind of goes on ahead, or she's just not there with them. But yeah, as they're walking onward, they hear like an announcement from the Vegapunk Edison, who's just basically telling them to keep moving along onward. And as they continue into the lab, these big iron doors open, and behind the iron doors is the fucking Jinbei Seraphith. Pretty cool. The Jinbei Seraphim, sorry.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there, and these Seraphim obviously are of the war. They're like little warlord androids that are like in child form of previous warlords, plus seemingly with DNA of Lunarians, given the black wings and the fire behind them. But yeah, the Straw Hats obviously don't know about the Seraphim, so they're just like, "What? Is that Jinbei's son? What the hell? Did Jinbei get turned into a child?" And obviously the Seraphim it's not very conversational. It immediately just starts firing off pacifista beams. Ooh. And yeah, the Straw Hats are just...
And they have AoE splash damage too.
Yeah.
I know you like that, Brian. I know I'm speaking your lingo right now.
What is that lingo?
Yep, I get it.
What's
I get
AoE
it now.
splash
Yeah, I
damage?
understand.
All right, so essentially, instead of it being like, all right, so when you think of a beam, right, it's like this straight projectile.
Mm-hmm.
So you can only, you're limited in what you could target. But these beams are so deadly. Not only does it shoot in a straight beam, when it makes contact, it explodes, creating that splash damage in the area. AoE meaning attack on. What does that stand for? AoE, Brian?
Area of effect.
Area of effect. I was about to say attack on entropy or something stupid.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan.
Well,
huh?
You learn something new every day.
Area of effect.
Area of effect. Speaking of splash, this Jinbei also seems to just dive into the water, and Frankie kind of recognizes that. He's like, "Wait a minute, I know that." And it is very reminiscent of Senor Pink's swim fruit powers from all the way back in Dressrosa. Remember, he just like dives into the floor and he swims wherever he wants. The Jinbei seems to be doing something similar. I don't know what that means. Really, I don't know if they somehow killed uh Senior Pink and transferred his powers into this Jinbei Seraphim, but it's familiar, as Frankie knows because he fought Senior Pink. That's why he's like, I know that power. Um,
Oh, I didn't make the connection before.
yeah, I saw that. I was like, whoa. So yeah, the Jinbei Seraphim just jumps out of the water and just starts choking Nami out, pretty vicious, which just like activates Sanji immediately. You know what time it is. He just like uses his maximum like Diablo Jambe powers and kicks the shit out of the Jinbei Seraphim. Robin follows suit with her Gigante Fleur and just starts like smashing the ground where the Jinbei Seraphim landed. This Seraphim dodges and appears directly before Robin. Luckily, Usopp is there to do something for the first time in a long time.
Nice.
Usopp!
Nice.
Um, but yeah, this Seraphim is also just like maneuvering and attacking the Straw Hats like as they attack him. Um, Frankie starts shooting a beam, and that's when we get to see Edison the Thinker, the third, the number 3 Vegapunk, who's actually reacting to Frankie's beam like, "Whoa, he just shot a laser. Who is that guy?"
Pretty sick.
This fucking Seraphim isn't ready for laser tests yet. And he's like, he's just like thinking, he's like, about all this different stuff. Lilith is like, do you have any idea how much a single Seraphim costs? And this Edison's like, so evil. But then he just like gets hit with a wave of inspiration and he flies off to draw new plans. Meanwhile, he leaves Dr. Vegapunk Pythagoras the Wise to continue gathering battle data. This is the punk number 4. And we see that it's just like gathering the data. We see this punk 6 who is eating as Edison seems to demand that that punk 6 continues eating so he can keep like doing plans. Which is interesting. Does that mean that like if one like this one Vegapunk sustains all of them in that way, like if she eats, the rest of them eat?
And if she doesn't eat, they all are famished.
Yeah, I guess so. That's the implication here.
I'm famished.
But yeah, this Punk 6 continues to eat till her current body mass index is over 600. So Pythagoras is just like realizing that like the Seraphim's attack patterns evolve as they grow. Does that mean that bloodline elements record individuals' experiences? So I guess these Seraphim like keep the bloodline elements of whatever they are manifesting, whether they be, I guess, Jinbeis or the Lunarian DNA that they have. I guess they kind of retain that kind of stuff. But yeah, this little guy, this Pythagoras, is like a big robot, but it seems like it's just like a big mech suit for him, and he can just like pop out of it. It's 3 and 4 respectively, so they're like little twin brothers, I guess. And yeah, we see that they're still working. Atlas comes out of nowhere and uses digestion punch, which gives us the introduction of York the Greedy, which is the punk 6 that's been eating this whole time for them. And
Fun fact.
What?
When I read this for the first time, I thought those were 2 different characters.
Which one?
The one sleeping and the one eating.
Oh yeah, no, that's York.
The same person.
Mm-hmm.
Same number, same hair, goggles. Wow.
Yeah.
What was I looking at?
No, I mean, I guess it looks like we see like how they look like before, and we don't see them transform into this skinnier version of themselves. But yeah, the Vegapunks are all hard at work, and we cut back to where the remaining Straw Hats are. and we see that Dr. Vegapunk Shaka the Good, the Vegapunk #1, pulls up and demands and orders the Seraphim to stop. And he introduces himself as Vegapunk, Dr. Vegapunk Shaka. And the Straw Hats are kind of stuck in place, and the reason being is that the shoes that they're wearing are under control of the laboratory's magnetic field, so they can essentially stick them to the ground whenever they want. So this was really funny. Like, Usopp is like just confused. He's like, okay, so we met a woman Vegapunk and an announcer Vegapunk, and this guy's like, yes, I am also Vegapunk. And Usopp's just like, am I Vegapunk? That was a little fun moment for Usopp. But Frankie's pretty stoked. You know, this is his cup of tea. You know, inventions and whatnot. He just wants to explore this island and see everything. And he's like, I want to know what kind of tech you're packing. We don't gotta be enemies. And Shaka reveals something incredibly cryptic and crazy. He looks over to Frankie and he says, "This place is the past." Because like Frankie,
what?
Yeah, because Frankie refers to this place as like kind of the super future. And we get like a little intercut with Luffy, Chopper, Bonnie, and Jinbei just like finding something. And Luffy and Chopper are like, whoa, this shit is cool. I want to ride it. I want to ride this thing. And we cut back to Shaka as he's like talking over this little scene that they're having. Frankie's like, what do you mean the past? And he's like, if I told you that Egghead wasn't the only one, that there was once a kingdom just as highly advanced as this that actually existed 900 years ago, would you believe me? As we see a big panel of this like fallen giant robot warrior that is just like laid up in this like seems like a trash heap. Yeah, crazy chapter overall. That is where this chapter ends. Lots to discuss. The introductions of the Vegapunk, the continuing Vegapunks. We see that apparently we're getting into the Void Century. But Josh, what did you think about One Piece chapter 1065?
What did I think? Let me tell you this. There's a lot of series on the plate. But because I had a really hard decision with all of them, there's one clear answer, and that's One Piece being the best chapter this week.
Oh,
in my opinion.
Yeah, it is for me as well. Brian, where do you stand? It's not yours yet?
Yeah, it's my RGC.
Oh, you know what? Based on the poll as well, our YouTube poll.
Harmonic Convergence.
This is a Harmonic Convergence, really good chapter of the week. I gotta find the line, but it's a long drop. I went a little indulgent on it. But
is this real fucking life?
Yeah, based on our YouTube poll, we have One Piece won 50% of the vote. It is all of our collective really good chapters of the week. So, you know, we gotta do it. This is a long drop, guys.
We have gathered today in celebration. Rejoice, my friends, for this is the Harmonic RGC.
Let's go, Brian. Connect with the spirits. We're all one in convergence. Together and believing this was the greatest chapter of this week. Because it is from Oda's hands directly to our hearts and minds. We are blessed every time he drops a chapter. Facts, no fiction.
I hope we don't get copyright stricken for this.
It's worth it.
I didn't think about it.
Nah, listen. All bullshit aside, there's one reason, and one reason only, this was the best chapter of the week. And that's because of that. The lore. Oh boy. When Oda drops some lore, it's like on my birthday every year, my grandmother, most years, my grandmother makes something called magic cookies, right? And they're very special. They're really special.
How
They make me
so?
happy. And so, it's rare. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it's wonderful. It's wonderful for me, and that's exactly how I feel about One Piece lore. If you notice, for those that are just listening, I have a paper that says lore, and it's written in giant letters
It is very
because I want you guys
impressive.
right. But there's a reason for the giant letters, and that's because at the end of the day, giants was in the past. You heard me, guys. Giants are in the past. It was all giants. Smart people were giants. People on boats were giants. The animals were giants.
It was giants.
Yes. Your favorite character was a giant. I'm pretty sure Nika the Sun God was. He was a giant and was 9 times out of 10 also the sun. But that's neither here nor there. I guess we'll figure that out eventually. I thought it was cool that they ran into the pacifista. I thought it was a nice little. I like the fact that Oda put Jinbei young in a previous chapter, just to see like I guess so it's like realistic. So we weren't confused at all about who it was or what's going on. Like these are clearly younger versions of the warlords. I feel like it cleared that up. But something else really jumped out to me. And that was when they showed Robin doing her attack, that Gigante floor thing,
Mhm.
right? Before when she used it, it was like all black and it looked like a demon. This time she used it and it was just plain.
Oh yeah, that's like she's done it before, where like she's brought to a bigger version of herself. Like the demon thing
Wasn't
is
that
like
just her special ability? Like, didn't she just pull that ability out?
no, not that one. She's done that one before, but like her demon thing is like an expansion of that ability. Like there's
Oh,
horns and
okay.
everything on that one. It's a stronger version of that power. Like she's kind of pushing it a little more with the demon child one.
Yeah, she really leveled up. Okay. So, is that hockey?
Maybe. I don't know what really
Maybe.
differentiates the demon child from I think with this one it's like kind of a more stationary version of it, where I think like her demon child one can actually move from like the spot it's in
Hmm.
and actually wrestle shit itself, you know?
Well, anyway, Giants. I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this. So, I'm done.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah,
you have
Brian, what
any
did you
thoughts?
think?
So there was a lot of uproar in the community, not like bad or uproar, like a lot of hoopla. Everybody's kind of going crazy about the reveal in the end here, and there were a few theories.
Theory time. Lore. Lore.
So
What is it good for?
So there's a theory that all devil fruits were created by the ancient government. So essentially, Vegapunk was just trying to. Oh Jesus, my camera.
Yeah, it's all
Hello?
right.
So apparently, Vegapunk was trying to recreate all. Like, all right, so Vegapunk was trying to recreate all of the ancient kingdom's technologies since they were so far advanced, right? And the smile fruits and stuff like that were a product of him trying to create devil fruits like the ancient kingdom did, but he failed. And Mononosuke's dragon fruit being the only copy that he actually perfectly replicated until the seraphim. So the seraphim is essentially like proof that he perfected recreating devil fruits, essentially.
That makes sense.
So that's the theory.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we know that already. Like that, Vegapunk is very tied to the Devil Fruit lore in general, seeing as how he seems to know their true nature in general. So, um, I'm excited to see more. You got any?
We're gonna get a lot of knowledge bombs here too, because Vegapunk, if all this technology comes from the ancient kingdom, that means he must have a lot of knowledge of the ancient kingdom. So we're probably gonna learn a lot about that soon.
Nice.
Also, Shaka, I love his fucking character design. It looks so fucking dope.
It's like Daft Punk.
Yeah, that's
Daft
exactly what I
Punk
was
with
gonna
the
say.
fucking coat. He looking sick and shit. Like,
Marshmallow.
also, I have an idea that I haven't seen anybody talk about, where I think Shaka they cover up Shaka's face because I think he's actually a fish.
You think he's a fish man?
I think he's no, not a fish man, just a fish in a bowl, because that's Oda's thing, right?
Yeah, that's his like.
That's Oda's.
Well,
What?
Oda's. You know, at the beginning of all the volumes, there's like a little, like artists depict themselves as certain things. Like Daisuke Ashihara, Daisuke from World Trigger, he likes to draw himself as a cat. Tagashi likes to draw himself as a dog. So you know, and Oda has himself with a fish head. It would be genuinely surprising if that was just foreshadowing the whole time.
Yeah, foreshadowing of Vegapunk the entire time.
It can't be that deep. I can't.
It can't be, but what if it was?
Then you know, a lot of people are getting sick of a bunch of folks being like, "Oda foreshadows everything." This would be pretty much. We can't deny that Oda foreshadows everything. If that's the case,
The theorists would lose their fucking mind.
yeah, this whole time. But I would go crazy. I'd go a little crazy if he was just a fish for a head.
Lore.
Lord.
Yeah,
Lord.
those are my thoughts. I thought Baby Jinbei was adorable, even though he's fucking up people.
Baby Jinbei is adorable.
You liked him beating up Nami?
No,
Yeah.
I thought he was adorable.
Is that how
Him
you
and
felt?
Baby Kuma. Baby Kuma is also adorable.
Yeah.
There was a baby Kuma?
Yeah. The
Oh,
one
yeah,
that,
earlier.
With the CP9. I mean,
Yeah,
CP0.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this was my favorite chapter of the week. But it was really cool to see all this shit with the Seraphim Jinbei. That swim fruit ability, I'm very interested in how that was possible, because two people can have the same fruit. So that means either somehow Vegapunk was able to replicate the fruit using science, or the government, after Dressrosa, managed to arrest all of Doflamingo's crew from Dressrosa and I guess execute them so that they can use their powers somehow. But yeah, definitely eerie. These Seraphim ain't nothing to fuck with. Pretty excited to see where that goes. It was cool seeing the other Vegapunks. We're getting introduced to them in a little quick of a fashion. We've met, 6 of them already? We met Shaka, Lilith, Pythagoras, and what's his face? Edison, and Atlas. So that's like 5, I guess. So I'm excited to see. There's like one more, right? Shaka. Yeah, I guess we met all of them. We've met all the
Except
Vegapunks.
is the real Vegapunk.
Yeah, besides the real one, obviously. But yeah, it was cool seeing them and seeing how they kind of operate together. Pythagoras and Edison seem very similar in the way they work. I guess the difference here between like the thinker and the wise is that, you know, Edison represents the innovative mind of Vegapunk that's always like making shit and is the source of all of like just the raw ideas for inventions. And Pythagoras is just like the absorber of data that allows for this this inspiration to take place. But yeah, I really enjoyed this chapter, seeing how it all goes. Every time Shaka pulls up onto the screen, he's always got some shit to drop, whether uh, it's the connection with Dragon or this n- fucking Void Sentry lore that we're about to get.
Void Century are full of giants.
Yeah, I don't know if it's giants necessarily, because the giants still exist.
They're their ancestors. That's why the world government hates them.
That's true. I mean, maybe the giants do have something to do with this, and this is their jumping off points to get to Elbaf. You know.
So
This
they're
could be
gonna
an
stop.
Elbaf setup chapter.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, arc.
Yeah,
Pow, pow,
I don't.
pow.
I don't think we're gonna get the whole story of the Void
Brian
Sentry.
was on the mark.
Yeah, right on the mark. I don't think we're gonna get a whole backstory for the Void Sentry just yet. I feel like that's a bigger idea that Oda is gonna tackle down the line. But it would be cool to get some fucking tidbits about it. I'd be here for that. But outside of that, I don't really have thoughts. I thought this was just like a fun chapter to read overall. Lots of action. Some lore drops. Very excited about that. But yeah, I don't got much else to say. You guys have any rebuttals, anything like that?
No burrs.
All right. Now, well, that was One Piece. Please let us know what you guys think in the comments below, and we'd love to respond and have a conversation with you guys. But until then, let's move onward. My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 372, Naked. We start off this chapter with a flashback as to how Shoji and Koda have ended up on the guard, on this like guard the hospital team, and basically they asked for it. After hearing what that heteromorph woman that Deku saved had to say about it, they felt like they needed to go out and help people there. So they basically get approval, and Aizawa asks President Mike to go support the boys, especially since Kurogiri's there, so there's an extra incentive to protect the hospital. And now we're cutting to the present where Shoji is facing off against a hulked out Spinner, and he's basically President Mike is looking on in kind of in impressive. Just impressed, just like these young men are already way stronger than we were back in the day. And
Damn.
we get a little bit of a flashback from Koda, talking about how his mom is talking to him about how one day his horns will grow, and once they do grow, he'll have a stronger connection to animals. He'll be able to beam his thoughts and feelings directly to them, even when they're farther away. And she explains that, as a heteromorph, she's also gone through a lot of, discrimination and hatred. But her dad was always sticking up for her and on behalf of that. And explains that, it's okay to be mad when you see these types of things, these little injustices. Grow up to be a man who gets mad when people mock something or someone dear to you. And we get this big splash page. Well, not really a splash page, but basically this divided page where both of them are using these their dope super extra attacks. He uses the Hitchcock Birds, which I think is actually kind of a clever attack name for Koda. And the
What
Octo
does Hitchcock mean?
Alfred Hitchcock had a movie called Birds. So yeah, it's about
What a reference.
Yeah, it's a pretty deep ref. And
Fair enough.
I mean, Shoji has a simpler attack. It's the Octo Suspension, where he just punches the shit out of Spinner. Still cool though. So Shoji just shouts out, is like, "What will you choose to protect with those scales and giant body? Tell me, Spinner. The rest of you too. What are you hoping to protect with your gifts and your power? Don't let them exploit your wounds." And we get a little panel flashback from the girl that Shoji saved when he was a child, and turns out he got those scars specifically because he saved her, and I guess they were not cool with that, I guess interacting with a non-heteromorph person. But
How
Spinner,
dare you save our daughter?
ah, yeah,
You should have let her die, you filthy scum.
you
Now
you, you feel this scam?
touching her was worse than death.
Yeah. But yeah, we see that Spinner is like still in his Hulk form. He's like, the grudge never fades. And he explains that like when he was for the crime of walking in public, they sprayed him with pesticide, and he's been just kind of a recluse ever since. Until like Stain came along and just kind of like gave him a reason to fight. And in the present day, we see that Spinner just like jumps off directly towards the hospital, and he's somehow stronger. It looks, and Spinner makes it directly into
It's the drugs, bro.
It's the drugs, bro. Don't do drugs, kids.
It'll make you super strong and attack hospitals.
Yeah.
And forget your cause.
Yeah.
I guess.
He bursts in and he starts to remember instructions that All for One gave him, that like Kurogiri is transferred to the research wing, and once you reach him, play a recording of either Mai or Tomura's voice, and it should activate him again. And as Spinner is running throughout the hospital and the other heteromorph soldiers follow, they come across basically this chain of doctors that are just protecting the inpatient ward. And he's just like, these heteromorphs are just seeing it, and they just like realize in that moment, they're like, oh shit, we may have fucked up. And we see Spinner running through like this hallway, and he's thinking to himself, and he's like envisioning himself, I guess, as this like little kid running. He's like, I never thought I'd get to be anyone, but by following you, maybe I can really be someone. Shigaraki, just watch me. I've got my allies behind me. And he sees that no one's there. No one's following him this far down the road. And he's like, whoa, damn.
Oh.
All right.
No. Did the doctors beat them up?
No.
Did they all have quirks?
Damn, the doctors are strong, huh?
We miscalculated.
I didn't account for the people's consciences.
Yeah. I get Kurogiri.
Anyway, Kurogiri.
Anyway.
Yeah. So honestly, like as he realizes that nobody's following him, he hears Aizawa in the distance just dashing after him. He's like, Shoji must have gotten through to them, and that guy in there ain't gonna be your ace in the hole. And we get this big 2-page spread as both of them call out to Kurogiri and Shirakumo respectively. And I guess now it's just of who he hears more, which I think is going to be Present Mike, because that's kind of his whole thing. That's kind of his whole bag. But yeah, that was My Hero Academia. Josh, what did you think of My Hero Academia chapter 372?
I'm going to start off with a counter response to what you just said. So, yeah, Present Mike's quirk is all about sound, right? However, don't forget that Spinner is a monster now. Enhanced by All for One himself's abilities. So his scream might get to Kurogiri first.
Well,
And not only because he has a big monstrous roar, right? But because, he's already trained to hear his name from his master. Well, at least the name his master gave him.
Well,
right?
I'll counter to your counter. All for One specifically said that he has to hear either Shigaraki or his voice, and it's Spinner who shouted out to him. So I think that's going to be the real ace in the hole. Is that at the end of the day, he'll respond more to Present Mike because he was supposed to hear Shigaraki or All for One to activate again.
Okay, one last counterclaim.
Hmm.
If you look at the last picture of
Mm-hmm.
him screaming,
Mm-hmm.
you'll notice all of the scales on his body.
Yeah.
If he can cause all of those scales to vibrate at a high enough frequency, you could probably cancel out all the sound.
Mm.
This is too much.
Am I making things up?
No, you're making things up. That's not
Yeah.
gonna work.
Yeah, I don't know what you said just now.
I don't know. I think my strongest argument is that he is indeed a monster. So
He is indeed a
I'm
monster.
gonna rest it at that.
You're not wrong.
I think that counts. I think you can't really like ignore that. That it
No.
is a factor.
No, you can't ignore it at all. No.
Other than that, I kind of told myself I really want to save any super deep thoughts like until like this arc wraps. At least similar to what I did in a couple previous episode ago. So I don't know. I thought it was cool. It was really nice to see this little backstory for Koji. Koji, yeah. I thought it was sweet. You know, his mom, now his dad was like sticking up for his mom, and I was like, oh, you did it with a creature. Okay. I guess that's acceptable. Like, it's not like she's the only post-human or whatever.
They're human still.
You know what I'm saying?
Heteromorph.
Sounds pretty racist to me, Josh.
Yeah.
I guess.
Pretty racist
I
of
mean,
you, Josh.
It's not. I don't know. I guess it's not that devastating to my career since these are indeed fictional characters.
You're just like
and
the rest
I'm not
of them.
oppressing them. I'm not oppressing Koji or his mother or any of these heteromorphs.
You called her a creature.
I guess it is prejudice at worst, maybe at best apathetic. Well, anyway, they went hard. I mean, I didn't. You know what? Not the Octo guy. He hit Spinner, and then he got right back up and started running fast and like, I'm not even gonna waste my time with you. Like that was it. He got his scale shattered. Yeah. So he got hit, and then he got back up and talked about. I didn't like this. I didn't like his spiel because he's purposely looking stupid. So then, what's the point? Is his cause wrong? Is his cause diluted? Or is he a dummy? Therefore, it's diluted. Is there a little confusion there? Am I the only one that's picking?
No, I think you got a good point. I think I got a good point.
You know,
there.
which one is it? But I guess we'll see. Maybe he'll have a moment of clarity, and he'll be able to talk to somebody and say, "Nah, this is how I really feel," and fuck you, heroes. Just suck my scale dick. You know, y'all ain't hold it down for me or my heteromorphs out in the countryside. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
He looked really cool, guys. For if anyone want to follow along, on page 8, on the bottom right panel, they have a picture of him saying, "When they hit us, we hit them back." I don't care for the statement. It's just a picture of how he looks.
Yeah.
He looks like a cursed spirit.
He does.
He looks like Yu-Gi-Oh card I've seen in the past. I wish I remembered the name. Anyways, what do you think, Brian? How'd you feel about your favorite series this week?
Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know whether I'm sad because I don't like it or sad because it's sad, you know? Like I don't like what they're doing with Spinner right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it hurts. It hurts to see it. Like that. Maybe it's supposed to, because like when I saw what happened with Spinner and he was by himself, I was like, damn. Oh my poor boy. What are they doing to you, man? Why are they doing this? I just want him to succeed. But it sucks. I'm not sure what exactly Horikoshi's trying to do with Spinner still. Or whether he's gonna have him maybe turn himself around, or I don't know. I still don't get it. If there was more focus on like the whole, it's basically the same thing as last week. If there was more focus on the heteromorphs and all this stuff, these moments would be more impactful. But in the end, it still just feels a little off. It still doesn't fully hit the mark. So, and now we're gonna get this whole thing with Kurogiri, which I don't think Kurogiri is gonna hear Present Mike, just because it's like kind of the formula for these kind of things. Something has to go right for the villains right now, and it's
Something.
gonna be Kurogiri joining the efforts of the villains again. So those are my thoughts.
Mhm.
It was
Oh,
pretty
that's
short.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Pretty
makes
short
sense.
thoughts, but I didn't have much to say about this chapter.
We counted your theory, Chris.
Wait, what?
We counted your theory, bro.
Yeah,
Counted
I mean,
you.
hey,
That's 2
that-
on 1.
I'll tell you what. Good counter. I can't argue against it. I think I agree.
He's advocating for Horikoshi's style. My point, monster voice, and also Horikoshi's artistic and story style. There's a word for that. There's got to be a better word for it.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll get into my thoughts. I think I agree with both of you. I think there's something lacking here. You both are hitting on something that's that I think is the core of it. When I read this arc, it reminds me actually a lot of the Fishman Island arc from One Piece. Oda did something similar with Hody Jones. You know what I mean? It's just the motif of just, I guess, like what they're doing with Spinner here. I think is that it's the idea of allowing unchecked rage and emotion and resentment, basically turning you into a monster. You know, where all you can really focus on is getting back the eye for an eye type of deal here. And I think that's what's going on with Spinner, turning him into this kind of like brutish figure that can't really think for himself because he's just so blinded by the grudge. I get it, but it's also a little, I guess, reductive of the argument, and it's kind of like a little beneath Horikoshi, to be honest. I feel like he could have done a little bit more with this. But you know, it's kind of the easy way out with this argument. I think we're One Piece, and we haven't gotten to the end of this whole thing yet, but I think where One Piece got it a little better so far, not knowing how this section of the story ends, is that at the end of it all, we do see that there is a little bit of a brighter hope for the future. In terms of Fishman, if we're equating Fishman to the heteromorphs here, there is like a brightness. The arc ends with Jinbei sharing his blood with Luffy, which was a thing that Fisher Tiger couldn't do. He couldn't accept human blood because he just couldn't bring himself to do it. He just could, like, his pride wouldn't allow him to take the blood, like have the blood of his oppressor, I guess, flow through his veins. Whereas Jinbei willingly gave his blood to save a human. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, I guess that's what I guess Horikoshi has to do to kind of like tie this up. But yeah, it is a little simple, and you know, it is like kind of done before. I guess on a positive note, I do really enjoy Shoji and Koda's backstories. I guess there's like these little wholesome things in them. I think they're generally very positive characters that I actually have enjoyed reading their backstories a little bit of. So there's that. There's also, you know, the oncoming stuff with Shirakumo. I think you guys have turned me. I think he won't hear President Mike somehow.
At least not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I think that's going to be coming. He's going to probably show up on the battlefield with Deku and them, and it would be weird for them to resolve this without Aizawa being there, because this is supposed to be President Mike and Aizawa's thing. So, I think that's what's going to happen. But other than that, yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Josh, you really hit on a point where they really do. Spinner is just like kind of this hulking creature, and it kind of takes away from his depth. I guess you also have to make him a physical threat, because this is the end of the arc, and there's a lot of like battles happening, and Spinner's not the strongest character on the villain side, so I get that.
I think now that I think about it a little bit more, they could be setting up Spinner to be someone who turns on All for One, and he could be the person who kind of brings Shigaraki back, like Class 1A brought Deku back, So maybe that could be something they're doing. That would be nice.
It would be nice.
Like a good turnaround.
Well, I'll say this. I actually just got to the first war in My Hero Academia. You know what I mean? Like that paranormal Liberation Front war. In my read-through, I'm finally there. And Spinner has been a little bit of the conscience of the team. He has been the one to question Shigaraki. Before the My Villain Academia arc, he was the guy who was like, "What are we doing? Like, we're just like running around. We're fucking homeless people. We just like we have no plan. So there is something to Spinner, that being the conscientious one of the group, so to speak, in terms of as conscientious as you could get as a villain. So I think there's merit to what you say, Brian. It makes sense. But yeah, I like this chapter. Okay, it is what it is. Like overall, what they're doing. What's the heart for? Do you just have this shit in advance?
I'll let you finish your thoughts.
Okay. Are you gonna tear it?
No, I created it on the fly.
Wow, that was fast. I didn't even know you were doing it. But yeah, I mean, that's what all I have to say. Overall, there's some parts I like about it, and there's some parts I'm not too crazy about. But it's not the worst thing I've read ever. So there's that. Those are my thoughts. Oh, what the hell's going on with the heart?
It's not the worst thing you ever read. Wow. Talking about, okay, so what I have here is Brian's heart.
Oh boy, here we go.
Mm-hmm. And while reading My Hero Academia over the recent, or maybe the past year, it's been like that. Been going for a spin, and it's been getting kind of pop, just kind of get beat up, bang, 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 bang. Kind of like it's like in a wash machine or something. You know what I'm saying? Or in the dryer. You ever wash your clothes in the dryer? Yeah, fucked up. Anyway, all right. So it's in a pretty shambled state. But let me tell you this, guys. This was all everything I showed you guys, right? But like I'm painting a picture for those listening. I'm crumpling this heart up, right? So that was all just my assumptions, how I guessed Brian felt. But it was all solidified today when Brian said his heart has finally broken. He said it.
Wow.
I don't have a
Beautiful.
timestamp for you guys right now, but I really hope Christian puts a timestamp for this.
I mean, I won't, but
I still believe him. I just hope that
there's a lot of drama to that.
I hope it gets. I hope he turns it around.
Me too. I hope he does turn it around. Well, you got to watch the YouTube version of the show if you're listening on wherever you're listening to it on, because Josh is apparently now just a paper master. Is just making them.
Yeah, that was on the fly, I guess. I don't know how he predicted that heart would break this chapter, this episode, but
I'm serious.
No, here's what happened. Josh heard the words "my heart's a little broken," immediately got to work on this fucking heart.
He's like, yes.
That's exactly what happened.
It's almost like you were waiting for this moment, like you had this
like
plan.
His whole life.
He was waiting.
It just came to me out. What can I say?
Well, Well, that was My Hero Academia.
Hey, thank you, Brian.
Yeah,
Thank
you,
you for
Brian.
being open and honest.
Yeah,
That was all for you
it's
because
good.
of you.
It's good to know that if you're open and honest with us, we'll take advantage of your emotional state.
Yeah, you'll
At least I will.
you'll create some crazy shit.
Yeah. Well, all right. With that being said, I guess we can move on then. Jujutsu Kaisen. This is Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 203, Blood and Oil Part 2. Josh, did you want to cover this, or do you need me to do it?
One more week.
Gotcha. Well, I got it.
Right.
Last we left off with Jujutsu Kaisen, Kenjaku just pulled up to the Star Corridor and is like, yo, where's Tengen? So I guess he's serious now. He's really going at it. Choso was there waiting for him. And we got bits and pieces of his overall plan. I guess Kenjaku's motivations. He really wants to just he seems to want to merge non-sorcerers with Kenjaku in order to create something. What the something is, he doesn't know, but that's the point. He just is interested to know in what would happen if he created this nexus point of cursed energy and merge non-sorcerers with the ultimate sorcerer, I guess, and see what would happen. And Choso, in response, just immediately shoots him with some blood stuff. So we open now with basically Choso, Tengen, and Yuki just sitting around, and they're just waiting for tea to boil, I guess. And Choso's like, let me do it alone. And she's like, you'll die if you do that. And Choso's like, then you would fight against Noritoshi Kamo 1-on-2 without me? With me? I'd be in the way, right? So he's like, I'll go first. I'll draw his cursed spirits and get him to reveal information on his cursed techniques. If I could get him to open his domain, and Yuki basically finishes Kenjaku will have difficulty using cursed techniques, and that's when I strike. And she's like, I'll say it again, you'll die. And Joseph's like, I don't give a fuck as long as we kill him, as long as he dies with me.
Right.
I gotta respect Choso. He's he's coming with me if I die.
People in anime are so ready to die.
Yeah, all the time.
Is that a Japanese thing?
I guess. You gotta come in ready to die, I guess, when you're fighting the ultimate evil. You can't have reservations, I guess. At least Choso's not like, I'll beat him for sure. Choso knows.
Hey. Because he's going into a situation he'll most likely die. It's not like, all right, if I cross the street, I might get hit by a car. It's like you're jumping into a fucking meat grinder.
Yeah.
Maybe something will catch you on the way down and you won't fall. I don't know. Maybe the machine will jam before you get into it. We'll see.
But yeah, we pick up where we left off in the present. One of I guess Choso's blood arrows is right here from Kenjaku's face, but he dodges it. He does a little matrix dodge and unleashes a cursed spirit while he's at it.
Right.
Choso does a cool blood thing, and it just changes the landscape of the whole thing. Kenjaku throws some rocks. There's a big battle that ensues here. It's kind of cool. There's cursed spirits and blood things flying everywhere. He makes a blood grenade. Kenjaku just blocks it basically with a cursed spirit. And Choso asks Kenjaku is like, what do you want from Yuji? And he's like, well, I don't specifically want anything from him. Yuji's role is to be a vessel, and that's already happening. So I don't have a big grand plan for him. He's just supposed to, I guess, house Sukuna. So, and as long as Sukuna is alive, the chain of curses will never end. So, he calls him the Eye of the Storm of a New Age, which is interesting. So Choso just shoots him while he's distracted. Kenjaku dodges it, but he's like, a little sigh breath thing comes out. And Choso goes off. He's like, no, as long as Yuji is alive, no. As long as you're alive, Noritoshi Kamo, you're the root
Right.
of all this unhappiness. In no way is it Yuji. But he gets caught. He gets caught pretty nice. There are these.
While being emotional.
Yeah, he caught him. You gotta use logic, bro. You can't let your emotions get the best of you, bro. He gets caught by some cursed spirits. They just like basically like hold him down while Kenjaku just comes in and socks the fuck out of him and like steps on his face because Kenjaku's a fucking savage. And he's basically like, you want me to reveal my curse techniques to Yuki Tsukumo. But you know, I've only been manipulating low level curse spirits. So, you know, it's not necessary for me to use my full power because you're all failed creations. And he stomps on his face. And you know,
Discarding his child.
yeah, and you can't talk that shit to Choso. He's like, what do you know about my brothers? And he's like, did I offend you?
Triggered much?
Be happy you got me to say that much.
Get nice, kid. Get nice, noob.
That was like Josh in character personification.
Yeah.
This guy is literally Josh. Well, you like your brothers? Your brothers are ass.
Your brother's not even strong.
We all suckers like you.
Choso tries to do something, but then he's immediately blasted with a cursed spirit blast. He gets like pressed up against the wall. His entire his shirt, his hair scrunchies, they're blasted off by this thing. And he says, "Do you know what the rank special grade signifies? The ability to single-handedly overthrow nations." And he's like, that's obviously true for Satoru Gojo, but Suguru Geto can also wield a grotesque army through his cursed spirit manipulation. Even dust can pile up into a mountain. He's like, if I could basically use my cursed energy to strengthen low-level curses and command a swarm, I could reduce a fucking first-grade sorcerer like you to this state.
It looks like Jesus on the cross.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty crucified. Now, did he lose his arm?
Sorry, guys.
Did he lose his arm? I think like it's a little too sketchy. I can't really tell.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably
Oh
in a
no, he
bad
has his
state.
arm. He still has his arm. It's just like kind of off of. There's like these little cracks, I guess, or like in between the tiles. There's enough space for his arm to hang there.
Oh yeah, he still got it.
Yeah. Anyway, so Tengen's watching this absolute ass whooping, and he's like, Yuki Tsukumo. Please.
I think,
Please. And she's like, no, not yet.
Jeez.
I didn't. You know, when I read this, I didn't take it as him panicking because I figured he's always calm.
Yeah.
He or she, it's just calm. Like, you should. That's how it took. He was like, Yuki Tsukumo, you should handle that. You know,
That's
like
how I
that.
took it. Where he's like, look at this. He's already dead. Save him.
Right. Oh my God, Yuki! Like, he's about to come.
To be fair, Yuki said is like, you're gonna die. So, you know, she said it. She told him. To be honest, to be fair.
I don't think he gives a fuck about Choso. I think he's like,
No, I know.
I think he's worried about.
I
his
said that
domain
just to
or
be funny.
whatever.
But he's just like, Yuki, please. So now we get like this internal monologue from Choso where he's like, I have failed as a big brother. I need to protect my
Facts.
little brothers and to be dependable and to serve as the example. That's what a big brother does.
That's also a fact.
And he says like, not fun. I couldn't even land one hit against my creep of a father. But I won't let him say my brothers aren't interesting. And he thinks of two of his brothers that are dead at this point, and also Itadori. And he's like, that's why. And he explodes into this blood thing, and he's like, lend me your strength. He calls out basically to the younger brothers of the death painting wombs, and he says, fire. And he flexes up, and that's where the chapter ends. Yeah, pretty dope. Josh, what did you think of Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 203?
Choso is such a confusing character. I really should reread this series. I don't remember the arc about the cursed wombs too much. I think there was something created by Kenjaku, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, this guy.
Yeah.
And they're all cursed spirits, right?
Yeah.
Choso as well.
Yes, technically.
Yuji.
Brian, can you look up exactly what the deal is with the cursed spirit wombs, whatever they're called? They're the death painting wombs. I remember them like somewhat that they're all cursed spirits, somewhat tied to Kenjaku, or something like that. But I could be wrong.
That's why he's calling them his dad.
They are 9 grade cursed objects created with the mixed blood of both a cursed spirit and a human.
Okay, yeah, then that makes sense. So they're basically hybrids between human and cursed spirits.
I see, except for that one thing down there. That looks like
that's
Digimon.
That's one of them.
That looks like Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, the Mike Wazowski cursed spirit.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, okay. So because Kenjaku and Itadori seem to be born out of not Kenjaku, sorry, Itadori and Choso seem to be born out of Kenjaku. They are technically death painting wombs because they are a mix of human and cursed spirit. I don't know how it is with the other brothers, the other death painting wombs, but they seem. The whole idea is that they're hybrid human curses. If that's what I'm gathering correctly.
So the one that sticks out the most is Yuji.
Yes.
So he's a cursed spirit.
Half.
Yeah, half.
Is that why? And that's why he's always been so strong.
Yes,
Probably.
actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's simple. Yes.
Okay.
Bingo.
I have
On the money.
nothing. I don't really have much more to say. Chozo got his ass whooped.
Yeah, I guess we should say that this is probably ass whooping of the week.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I hate to do it to him, but it is what it is. Choso got worked pretty bad. And I like Choso, but spade's a spade. We gotta call it. Ass whooping of the week goes to Choso. We had to do it.
Yeah, it's probably gonna keep going next week. He'll probably be the next week's ass whooping of the week as well. Honestly,
Hey, look, I mean, if that fight against the Seraphim had continued any further, it probably would have gone to the entirety, like half of the Straw Hat crew. They were getting worked by one Seraphim.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah.
It was getting beat. Sanji kicked him with all his might, and it did nothing.
Yeah, but Brian, what did you
He
think?
didn't care.
Brian, what did you think about the chapter?
I think that Choso is gonna at least get him to use something. But when that happens, it's over. The fight is over right away. Like as soon as he gets the curse technique out. Which is a shame. I like Choso. I think he's an interesting character. But I don't have much to say about this chapter, honestly. It was a bunch of action, I think it's interesting that he chose Choso to be this guy to fight here. And I'm looking forward to see him getting his ass beat even more next chapter.
It's cruel. But I don't disagree, I guess. Yeah, I really like this chapter as well. I want to say this would be my runner-up, but my runner-up is almost exclusively World Trigger when it's here. So I don't know.
Oh shit. World Trigger.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it when we get. But that being said, I really.
Yeah, that's a different scale.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
we could debate that all we want.
we'll-
It's a different scale.
Yeah, it is. But just because it was an ass whooping doesn't mean it wasn't a good battle. You know what I mean? I think this is like a really cool fight overall, just to like elevate the threat that is Kenjaku. Just like really show it.
Yeah.
It is that
For that
thing-
reason, yeah.
It is that thing of just like the not showing having the main antagonist fight with a fraction of his power, just to really build up the threat and the man.
Has your favorite character gotten his ass beat?
I wouldn't say he's my
There you
favorite
go.
character, but it's pretty great.
No, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, and I do like Choso as a character. I don't mean to dunk on him and make it seem like I don't like him, but it is the point. They make no bones that even Choso knows that he's kind of outmatched here. But I do like that, he's got like a little depth to him, and I'm enjoying seeing it. So, pretty cool fight. I can't wait to see what he does, even though it might very well be countered very easily. But maybe Yuki will come in out of nowhere and save him in the very last minute and be like, I won't accept your death. Something like that. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Excited for what comes next for Jujutsu Kaisen. But I don't have anything much else to say. It was an action chapter. So, all I can comment on. It's a great action chapter, to be honest. So yeah. Any rebuttals before we move on? All right.
I have no idea what we're about to cover next.
Oh, well.
No idea.
Luckily for you, I do. Let's move on. Hunter x Hunter. What?
Oh yeah.
Were you that shocked?
I was thinking it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I was leaning towards Chainsaw Man because that's kind of what we've been doing. Like after Jujutsu, we do Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe he'll feel like, oh boy, all right. This chapter says 19 pages, but we all know it's really more like 30.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not exaggerating.
Hey, that's Hunter x Hunter for you, but let's get into it.
Oh,
This is Hunter x Hunter chapter 393 Plea. I bet everybody thought that we wouldn't get here. You know what I mean?
400's on its way.
400. Okay, so
Alternate title, get skewered in your motherfucking head.
Yeah.
I had to do it. Sorry.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
I understand. All right, so I guess I want to clarify some things. In our last recap, I mentioned that I wasn't super familiar with the situation with the gangs that are going on right now. I have read up and I'm on a little more of a better idea of what the dynamics are here. Overall, the story is the succession battle arc. Essentially, there are 14 princes that are being shipped off to this new continent right before the Dark Continent. And on the voyage to this new continent, there is a fucking bloodbath battle royale that is supposed to be taking place among the 14 princes of the Kakin country to decide who will be the next king. So, thus, this is the succession battle. And there, right now it hasn't been all that like outward battle. In fact, there's been very little battle. It's a lot of feeling each other out and just because the princes can't attack each other directly. They can't just like murder each other out in the blue. It has to be done very covertly.
Very sus.
Yeah, it's got to be very subtle, and they can't outright kill each other.
Plus, it's hard to kill each other because they all have like Nen beasts watching over
They have
them.
Nen beasts and personal guards that we are all supposed to be very familiar with. So there's 14 people on top of their guards. Kurapika being the leading man in this arc, essentially. And if that wasn't complicated enough, in the lower levels of the whale ship, there are these 3 bosses of these 3 crime families: the Haley, the Cha'ar, and the Jiu. And they are all headed by the illegitimate children of the king, people who are not able to take the throne. So they run these little mafias on the side. And the dynamic here is that the Cha'ar and the Jiu have teamed up to fight the Haley. Each of these mafias are benefacted by one of the princes. I believe the third prince benefactors the Cha'ar. The 5th prince, Lazarus, benefits the what's his the Jiu. And the 4th prince is the benefactor for the Haley. And the Haley is just starting shit. They're just like, the boss of the Haley is this woman. I forget her name right now. But she has a Nen ability that allows her to bestow Nen abilities onto her followers. And if they take down people, if they kill people, their proficiency in their ability increases. So she's building like kind of a little Nen army here. And the other bosses are not cool with that. So, they're conspiring together to take care of the Haley and restore balance to the ship in general. And that has gotten complicated by the fact that the Phantom Troop are also on the ship hunting for Hisoka, who is also on the ship.
Also on the ship. Yep.
So, yeah, lots of stuff going on. Basically, the Phantom Troop has formed an alliance with the Cha'ar, who is in, of course, allegiance with the Jiu, and now they are on a manhunt for Hisoka. There's like a little bit of a deal here. The Phantom Troop will take care of the Haley, or help them take care of the Haley, and the Cha'ar and the Jiu will hunt after Hisoka for them as well. Help them find Hisoka. Got all that? Did you absorb all that information?
Yeah, sure.
Well, there you go. That was a lot of reading that I did to remember all that.
Wow.
Okay, so for the last couple chapters, they've been dealing with this serial killer on the boat that has been bestowed abilities by the Haley boss. And he has a teleportation ability, the rules of which are that he can basically enter a sealed room that he's been into before. And the ability stops working when you unseal the room. Like, if you open the door, basically, he can never use that room again. So he's been going around killing people, and we are now with Finks, Phaeton, and Nobunaga as they encounter the Haley. It should also be known that a lot of these mafia dudes, regardless of which mafia they're a part of, idolize the Phantom Troop. They're big Phantom Troop fans. And this Haley guy is not so different, because he approaches them and he's like, "Hey, why don't you help us?" This was all to go after the Cha'ar. Next we go after the Jiu and then the royal family. And once we exterminate the Kakin royals, we could take over their ship and go back to our world and go on a rampage. Let's destroy the world together. And Nobunaga does not waste any fucking time. He immediately just like stabs him in the fucking head and is like, "I don't understand a word you're saying." If you did all that without wanting to pick a fight, then you're just an idiot. If you're going to talk about destroying the world, then I'll destroy you. Pretty dope fucking line from Nobunaga, to be honest.
Nobunaga's my favorite from the Phantom Troop.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Enhancer type, right?
I think he's an enhancer.
I would imagine.
So
Actually, there's not a lot we know about Nobunaga's Nen abilities.
no, yeah, we don't know anything about his Nen ability specifically. I do think the only thing we do know is that he is an enhancer of some form.
Okay.
But yeah, he's this guy's dead after chapters and chapters of trying to hunt him down. It's like that he's gone. The Char guys that they've been working with have come back. Nobunaga opens the door, and this guy's just like, Nobunaga himself opened the door for me. And
Oh, hey, don't forget
yeah.
the little hearts.
Oh yeah, the little heart.
I wish I had some tape.
Yeah, you already tore it in half, dude.
Nobunaga.
Nobunaga. Okay,
For
so
me.
they notice that there's a dead ass body in the room, and they're like, ah! And they explain, it's like, this is the guy who killed the guards in the warehouse, and this is his head. It's been decided we'll crush the Haley ourselves. So pretty dope, pretty cool. So basically, they're going after the Haley full force now. And the guy swears that he'll get an autograph from each of the Phantom Troop members. All right, pretty cool. We do get 2 pages of a lot of dialogue where basically the other Haley members are mourning the loss of Liuni, the guy that teleports through stuff. That's his name.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of talk about, like manifesting Nen abilities and trying to figure out who has what class of Nen and all that stuff. So, they're just trying to like data collect and all that stuff so they can plan and move forward. We meet up with our 2, I think they're Haley people. Not Haley. They're GU people. The guy with the blood Nen ability and the lady who punches people when they tell the truth. They wake up in the trash. Hisoka did not kill them, which is kind of nice of him, given that this is Hisoka we're talking about. And we learned that Hisoka went to go see a movie. Henrik, the second in command of the GU army, not army, mafia, finds Hisoka, who's just finished watching a movie. And in so many words, he basically is like, hey, so until this whole Haley war thing is going on, I need you to stay out of sight because we need the Phantom Troop to help us out and be fully focused on our vibe, on our thing here. And Hisoka's like, fucking, why would I do that? And he's like, look, I don't want to get in the way of your beef. I don't want to like get in the way of your fight with the Phantom Troop, but we just need this to be done, and then you can fight however you want.
Yo,
Yeah.
You want to talk about a nigga being so scared?
Yeah.
He straight up told him.
He's like, please, I don't want to fight you.
None of us wants.
None of us wants to smoke. Nobody from the Char, nobody from the GU. We don't want it.
I only brought these bodyguards to look cool and feel a little bit safe.
But we know it'd be over immediately if you wanted it to be. And Hisoka's like, okay, why not? There is this guard that that Heinrich made a deal with. The Char second in command comes through and also strikes up a deal for information for this guy. So this is where a little bit I get a little lost in what's going on here. I guess they are searching for, I guess the Haley hideout, and they open the door. They find this guy. They're like knocking on doors and looking for clues and stuff, and they see this guy who's just shaking the whole time. And they ask him to back up as they search the room. Heinrich throws like a knife in there just to make sure this guy's not fucking with them, with Nen in any way, I think. And the chapter ends with them, I guess, entering the room further to just like search the room, I guess. But yeah, that's where the chapter ends. That was Hunter x Hunter chapter 393. Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
It was a little bit weird. because there's a lot of different things going on. Truth be told, I'm still on my way to catching up again. I'm not far behind. I finally made it to like at least a quarter into like the what do you call that? The voyage, you know? I'm more wrapped up in this section with the princes right now. But with all of that said, man, it's nice to see the troop being super cool and unbeatable. I mean, you've had two different crime bosses come up to Hisoka and the troop respectively and be like, "We don't want problems." I mean, no one explicitly said that to Nobunaga and friends, but they were claiming like, "Okay, we're just gonna take over this whole mafia situation and kill them all." That's the confidence.
Yeah.
Nobody in the mafia is gangster that like on their level.
No,
They
not on
really
their level.
that.
They're really that nice. They took on Chimera
Hisoka
Ants pretty
packed
easy.
out that kid and the other and the cell phone guy.
Yeah.
Hacked them.
Yeah.
I mean, Phantom Troop can scrap, you know.
Yo, but now Crollo's abilities are going to be stronger. Did y'all think about that?
no. I didn't think.
Or intensifies after death.
That's true.
That is what Crollo said. Well, anyway. That's it. I don't have too many other thoughts. I mentioned to Chris earlier that I really enjoy this art. I don't care what people say. Is this person in the trash with the white hair, is that Killua? Or not Killua, Kaluto?
No,
Kaluto?
Kaluto has black hair.
Okay.
Anyway,
Is he stronger than Illumi?
I don't think we know anything about his fighting ability.
Wait, is Kaluto on the?
Yeah, Kaluto is part of the Phantom Troop.
Everyone
Oh
but
yeah.
Gon and Killua is on the boat. Every character from the past.
I don't think
including
Leorio's on the
Chimera
boat.
Ant.
I don't think Leorio is on the boat. I could be wrong about
See,
that.
Leorio is on the boat.
Okay. JK. Never mind.
He's with Cheeto in the medical.
This boat is so damn big.
Or whatever.
Yo, there's Zodiacs now.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the Zodiacs are on the boat.
No, I mean like
All the Zodiacs.
Leorio and
Kurapika.
Yeah, so what did they take? So Kurapika's the boar, probably.
No,
And
Kurapika is the rat.
is the rat.
Right?
Because he would turn on them all for the blood eyes of
No,
his family.
he's the rat, and I think Leorio is the boar.
I mean, the rat isn't a bad code. I guess it just means that they're more.
You love rats, Brian?
No, it's just not like a
Do
negative.
anybody you know likes rats?
No. It's just that it's more like I guess.
I'm sure I speak for the rest of us here at Dune Jump City that we don't know not one person that do like rats.
I would say
that
that.
has ever said anything positive about rats either.
Yeah.
I think the rat is just like because Pariston was the rat before, and I think it just goes to show that the person who is the rat is just more. I feel like is more inclined to be intelligent and more. I don't know what I'm blanking on the word that I want to use, but
Sneaky, crafty.
Yeah, crafty. That's what it is.
Because Monkey would be
Very
more
crafty.
than the others, but whatever.
Yeah.
And I think Kurapika fits crafty really well.
Yeah. Brian, what did you think about the chapter?
I really enjoyed it. Just because, you know, we got to see Nobunaga do some cool shit. I didn't expect him to just like one shot this guy.
Yeah.
But,
Same.
I guess that just goes to show that what's the author's name for Hunter x Hunter? Tabata?
Togashi.
Huh?
Togashi.
Togashi? Togashi will show off fights when the time comes. He does not play around. If he can handle a situation instantly, he will. And that's why I like, because there's not a lot of padding. If every other series had as much packed into a chapter as Hunter x Hunter, they would be so much farther along. Like just imagine how much shit One Piece could pack into a chapter, like if they did it like this. I
Oda
know it's a lot.
would have used the rest of his lifespan already. Sorry, Brian. I had to cut in before I forgot that.
But I every chapter feels so much longer than it is, and that's because there's, like Josh said, there's so much going on
Yeah,
everywhere.
I I had another one. So I was reintroduced to Kurapika's ability, Emperor Dolphin, right?
Emperor
Emperor
Time.
Time, right? So it's just so hilarious that the description of the ability is that for every second that passes, while Emperor Time is activated, an hour of his life is shaved away for
Oh yeah.
each second.
Oh
For
yeah.
1 minute is 60 fucking hours. That's a day and some change. But that's what it's like reading this series. Like, you're reading more than just a page, each page. You're reading a book each week. Now let me start. You're a chapter. Like there's so much going. It's so dense, and I don't have an issue with it at all. You know, I can't wait to reread these parts when I come back to them again from with a better perspective.
Yeah.
Who is Kaluto? Why do these
I
siblings keep coming out of nowhere?
Kaluto's been
Right?
around for a while.
No.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah. No, Kaluto they hinted at.
Oh, she's been around. You're right. She was there early on.
Kaluto's a boy, I believe. There's another
Anyway.
sibling that is that has the eye bacteria thing from the Dark Continent, but Kaluto is someone different.
Who was that girl then?
Aluka.
Doesn't he have a? I know Luca, but what about the one that was there? You know, whatever. Let's not go through this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Not that
so
serious.
I actually like, so to touch up on the art for Tagashi, I like it because it gives every character an individuality. There's not a single character that looks similar to each other in this series. And that is impressive for a manga. A lot of manga, like, you could get confused with other characters pretty often because they all have like the same head shape, same kind of eyes, same nose. The only defining difference is people's hair. In this series, everybody has a different facial structure, everybody has a different demeanor, everybody has different posture, different expressions. It's actually impressive what he does with his art. Um, it strikes me as a little bit old school, so not a lot of people um not a lot of people are used to this kind of art anymore just because Hunter x Hunter started a while ago. There was a huge break, and um the art kind of stayed frozen in time, in my opinion. And I think this is a refreshing change of pace when it comes to Shonen Jump art.
You know.
You don't get a lot of this in a lot of other manga. Um and I really appreciate how much effort he puts into making so many characters look so different and unique, um, and how he makes certain characters who have been around for a while look different. Like Hisoka looks fucking awesome without his fucking makeup and shit. Like if he was in this, if he was in the rest of the series looking like this, he would look so much more intimidating. There's something that's so much more dangerous about him while he's looking like this, you know?
I don't know. The full pedo outfit was pretty horrifying to me, but you know,
It's like
I
a
guess.
quiet fear. It's like a quiet confidence or something like that, or like he looks a little more serious, which is, I guess, his point. He's here to take care of business. Um so we'll see what happens in the next chapter. I also was a little confused about the last 2 pages, but I'm sure we'll get 2 pages of explanation next chapter.
Yeah.
Um So that's it for me.
Yeah. I don't have much to add. I do feel a lot better about the arc now that I've have a a little more information that's just kind of stuck with me about it. To Brian's point, I want to add a little something to the art thing. It's also Togashi has just been out of the game for like he's not well. You know what I mean? Like people got to stop dunking on his art for that reason alone. The fact that he's even working right now is honestly just a gift, and I'm really grateful that he's still around and he's still working despite his condition. And I hope he's able to do it for a lot longer. So I'm just happy he's back. It's a lot like World Trigger. Daisuke Ashihara has gone through a similar thing, and he was able to come back. So I won't ever dunk on his art at all. And it is a little old school. He's an old school guy. You know what I mean? I think Togashi, like Yu Yu Hakusho, I believe like precedes One Piece even. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of his style. So I get that. In terms of story, that last 2 pages was a little weird to me. I guess like I need to read it a couple times. That's the thing about Hunter x Hunter. It is very dense, which is not a terrible thing in and of itself, but sometimes with the amount of information that you have to try to process and absorb, a lot of things get lost and you know, you take this 2 pages, for example, where we see the Hey Lee gang just like talking amongst themselves. And we get introduced to some of them by name, and I feel like we're going to have to remember these guys, you know, especially since a lot of these guys are going to have Nen abilities going on. So I don't know. It is the dense is a gift. The denseness of this series is a gift and a curse. So that's all I gotta say about that one. I'm hoping.
Real quick.
Yeah. What?
All right. So I think I understand what's going on in the last chapter. I mean, in the last 2 pages. So there's a panel where it shows the back and then there's the bed, but it's like shadowed. So it's like something is watching them from behind the wall. And he threw the knife because you remember one of the princes, they had a room where if they stepped out, they wouldn't be able to get back in.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I remember that.
So he threw the knife to test to see if that was the case in this room, because it's odd that he is by himself
Mm-hmm.
in
Okay.
this situation.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry this took me so long to really absorb. But the idea is that they're looking for the Haley secret hideout. This corporal guy is selling them the information. And he's basically like, it's here somewhere. So, you know, that's the whole vibe here. They're looking for the opposing gang's hideout. And they're assuming that, like Brian said, the throwing of the knife is just a testing of whether there's a Nen ability being activated within the room. But yeah, you're right. You see, like, it takes a couple reads for me to really get it. And maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just, like, not absorbing it. Maybe it's also that I had 7 other series to think about it coming. So,
Yeah.
you know. But overall, I love Hunter x Hunter, and I really like this chapter. But I don't have anything else to add on, so I'm not going to prolong it any further. You guys ready to move onward?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, then let's go. Chainsaw Man. This is Chainsaw Man chapter 109. Easy way to stop bullying. Last we left off, Yoko seemed to have finally been defeated by Asa using this uniform weapon. And you know, she was just kind of lamenting over the fact that she probably killed Yoko in the process, not just the Justice Devil. And then there was this strange girl that came across and was like, I could resurrect her for you if that's what you want. She's like, what? And that's when we see the Justice Devil fully revived and is now at the start of this chapter causing a whole lot of havoc. Yoko, as the Justice Devil, notices that Asa is on the ground, probably knocked back from the big expansion of the Justice Devil. So, you know, Yoko notices the girl that one of the bully girls, and she picks her up. And he's like, "You did this," and she's like, "No, I didn't do that shit. It wasn't me." And right, I guess when she's about to kill her, that's when Denji shows up, and he's like, "Hey, you bad devil, let the girl go." Uh, and she's like, "Mind your own business." Like, well, you left me no choice. I don't want to blow my cover, but I can't just stand here and not be Chainsaw Man in a time like this. Uh, and she's like, "Get out of my way." Comes down to attack, but we get a cool 2-page spread of Denji becoming Chainsaw Man and cutting one of her tentacles in half. Pretty dope. Pretty fucking metal. And yeah, there's a lot of like action from here on out. She's trying to fight Chainsaw Man, but Chainsaw Man's too fucking nice with it. And as
He's just carving through her.
yeah, as Denji is just cleaving through her, the Justice Devil, Yoko as the Justice Devil, is just thinking to herself, like, "You're kidding me." He's not even thinking about the fight. All he's thinking about is how to expose his secret identity in a natural way. And that's when Asa gets up and she notices that Chainsaw Man is here, and then Yoru, the War Devil, completely just like shakes over her body. Is like, "Chainsaw Man." And this chapter ends with a splash page of Denji standing over the corpse of the Justice Devil and looking over at Asa or Yoru. And that's when we transition over to chapter 110 that came out today. I guess this is how we're doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Where, you know, she reaches into Yoko's corpse and is like, "Yoko, leg sword." She pulls out a cool sword and she's like, "Remember me, Chainsaw Man?" And Denji is just staring up her mostly naked body and is like, "Whoa." Oh wait, actually she's like just staring at her body, and then a hand appears from the guts, the blood and guts, and it's the girl that he saved. Is like, "Hey you, I saved you." He just like, Denji just turns over to her. He's like, "I saved her," and she just freaks out because this is a fucking devil with a chainsaw for a head talking to her. He's like, "No, wait, please don't be scared of me. I'm Chainsaw Man. I don't eat people. How about I show you my human form to prove it?" And that's when this octopus or squid arm, whatever it is, comes up as Yoru is also just gearing up to chop his fucking head off. But the squid arm just like pulls him under, and Yoru misses. He just vanished, and Yoru's pissed. And he's like, "Show yourself, Chainsaw Man! I'll obliterate you!" And we see that Denji has ended up inside of a classroom where Squid Boy is like, "I told you I'd stop you by force if I had to." And Denji's like, "No, but that was such a natural reveal." Pretty sad.
I thought it was pretty natural.
Yeah, I thought so
It
too.
wasn't his fault the demon pulled up out of nowhere.
Exactly. And you know, we get a little bit of the aftermath of the battle with the Justice Devil. All the kids seem to know that it was Yuko the whole time. And you know, she hasn't changed anything. You know, at the end of the day, they're just like, she was so weak-willed to make a deal with the devil just to get back at her bullies. And obviously she hasn't been around. She got away, but she hasn't been around. And we get a little insight into Asa's mind. She gets these dreams where she's running down an alleyway and the ground is littered with dead chickens, and you know, there's just so many of them as she's trying to avoid stepping on them. And at the end, and it always ends with there's this darkness ahead of her, and she wakes up in that part, as she does every night when she has this dream. She gets up and tries to get some water. But as she's going back to bed, she gets a ring at her doorbell, and she asks who's at the door, and it's Yuko. Yuko's like, "Sorry for showing up in the dead of night like this," and Asa goes to open the door, and she's like, "Don't open it. I managed to get away, but I've turned into a devil. So if I see you, I might try to
vampire.
Yeah, I might try to eat you." And Asa opens the door, and we see a panel of Yuko in her new form. She is basically half devil. She has like the Justice Devil tentacles hanging off of her head, She says, "I told you not to open it," and that's where the chapter ends. Wow, lots to discuss here, I guess. But Josh, what did you think of Chainsaw Man chapters 109 and 110?
Both of them, huh? Man, Denji didn't do too much, but him popping up it was explosive. I mean, we knew he was coming eventually in this fight, especially at his school. But man, he turned Shorty into shredded chicken breast. Her brain is all pudding. He I can't believe she was standing there outside of Asa's door. I could not believe it.
No, neither could I, man. That was crazy.
I think she's gonna do wrap her tentacles around her face and say, "I love you." Maybe.
Is some sweet tentacle love?
Yeah.
A tentacle hug?
I think Asa's gonna accept the hug
Yeah.
and the tentacle touch onto her face. And I think they'll be cool. I think there's gonna actually be a cool happy ending. And then right before the actual ending of the next chapter, what's her name's gonna pull her fucking spine out and turn it into a sword.
Is she a
And we're
fiend?
gonna get it.
She's a fiend now, right?
I don't know. I think a fiend implies that whatever is of the human person, the human body, like the soul, it's not there, and it seems to be Yuko still. So I don't think she qualifies as a fiend. I think she's more like Denji, where she shares a body with the Justice Devil in that way.
Power used to be a human.
Power is a
Yeah.
fiend, so that means like she took over a corpse, and that's what she is. Do you have any other closing thoughts?
Oh yeah. So I forgot I only cracked a joke. Yeah. I guess that's about it. I guess I do wonder how she survived, but very artistically well done. I love the series. What can I say? Brian, what did you think?
I'm just glad that the other guy showed up again. I really like his him and Denji's dynamic. I didn't have much to really say about this chapter aside from the fact that I'm a little confused about what's going on with her. Because if it is like a Denji thing, like what is that form? And why wasn't that activated before?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like it's a part of a contract thing. Denji is the way he is because technically he made a contract with Pochita before he died. So it's not necessarily that Pochita took over his body. It's that Pochita became his heart and is allowing him to use his powers in exchange for something. And Yuko made a point that she made a deal with the Justice Devil, so it could be something similar.
Okay.
Oh, she replaced her brain or something?
I have no idea. The particulars are not known, but she seems to not be a fiend. Is all I know.
She's in a fucked up position one way or the other, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I would not want to have devil tentacles coming out of my head.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
She doesn't have she lacks fingertips.
Yeah, she's Squidward now.
That was the
She's
price she
Squidward.
paid.
Yeah, because she's got tentacles for hands now. But yeah, I guess I'll get into my thoughts then. I mean, it was cool to see Denji do his thing. Denji just being so like comfortable being Chainsaw Man that like not like the Justice Devil's not even a challenge really. I do like this little gag of Denji just constantly trying to reveal his identity and just like not going anywhere.
Also, what did he use? Did he use an octopus devil or something to get Denji
Yeah, he
out?
has this like squid octopus devil that he uses. Like he did that in the last series as well. That's why I called him Squid Boy. I still don't know his name. I call him Squid Boy because that's how I remember is that he uses like some kind of octopus or squid devil. I can't imagine that we'll go much longer without knowing who he's working for. It doesn't seem to be the Devil Hunter Association, so I'm excited to see where that little plot point goes. Yeah, I think Denji's super funny. I thought this battle was sick as hell. It's interesting to see the Asa and Yuko friendship continue after this, despite all that's happened. But yeah, that's all. I don't really have much to add. I really like this series. I'm looking forward to what's coming next, man. Just keep it short if we have to. We've got a lot more show coming up, so I guess we should move on. Yeah, no more closing thoughts, no more rebuttals.
Nope.
All right, then let's move onward. World Trigger. This is World Trigger chapter 227 and 228. We're starting with 227, the away mission test part 24. Last we left off, Suwa's Squad 7 has been trying to come up with new ways to cheese the Battle Sims games that they've been playing with the other members. It's part of the overall exam here. And Osamu seems to have an idea, and he calls over to the Kodera squad to discuss with them, because there is no rule against squads helping each other out during this whole thing. And he basically Osamu basically asks Kodera about what his initial thoughts are about the initial exchange in each battle sim, which is basically the very first clash when the battle sims happen, like when the units first start to clash. And he's like, why are you asking about this in particular? And he's like, because I believe that initial exchange determines the entire outcome of the match. And Kodera's like, and so were we, respectively. We're like, oh, Osamu.
That's quite the claim,
yeah.
my friend.
Okay, so he starts to explain his logic and his reasoning. He's like, well, in yesterday's special assignment, it asked us to come up with reasons why the B rank wars pit 3 squads against each other. And Osamu notes that one of the reasons I came up with was that the one-on-one matches would give too big an advantage to squads that have more members than the other squad. Like a squad against 4 would obviously have a bigger advantage of a squad against a squad of 3. So he explains that the initial exchange in the battle sims, there will always be a squad that will lose a bunch of people, and the team that loses the most units in that initial exchange will always have trouble going forward. They'll just have a disadvantage, and unless they could come up with a tactical way to turn things around, that numbers disadvantage will grow from there. And
yeah, that first interaction completely sets the tone.
yes, exactly.
Now you're on your heels,
Mm-hmm.
and you're more like, it's just, yeah, it's common sense thinking, but maybe nobody else has thought to put like a whole bunch of strategic depth into their first move, except for Carrot Top.
Yeah. So yeah, they continue onward in analyzing this. Is like, so Kodera breaks it down as like, so instead of thinking of a match as a set of 6 turns, we should emphasize and prioritize that very first attack. Is that it? And Osamu's like, yeah, basically.
Yep,
you got it. And Kodera's like, this probably benefits us more than it helps them. And I guess like he asks if they have anything else to ask, just as a courtesy, because basically they gave Kodera some really useful information. And Ui, the operator for Suwa's squad, I don't know if you can hear my cat. She's playing around back there. She basically asks about the data, and apparently she asks about how like the enemy data that they get seems to be getting filled out at random. And she was asking if she could compare notes with them and fill in a bunch of blanks in their respective data. So they basically do that. Okudera on Kodera's squad asks, about the Omni penchant. the skill that Katori has in general, and it turns out that it allows someone to have to equip two penchant skills at the same time for free. It's not all that vital information, I guess, but yeah, basically you get Katori. People who use Katori in the game get one more skill than anybody else. So, yeah, basically, and Oki asks a very important question himself. He asks, Kodera's squad is filled with people who don't really have a lot of try-on. So he asks how they continue to win matches, and Kodera hesitates to answer the question, but Kitora basically is like, tell him honestly, helping if they know the secret to it, then they could probably deal a loss to Ninomiya or Mizukami. And they basically explained that, like, instead of using shooter triggers that use a lot more try-on, they use blade triggers so that they consume less try-on. For example, Osamu could benefit from using a ray gust than a typical shield instead.
Which is weird to me because he already uses a ray gust. Why wasn't that equipped?
I don't know if it was equipped in the game necessarily. Like, Osamu has a shield and the ray gust in general. So they say that instead of using the shield, they could have him
At
use
all?
his ray gust. Yeah.
Like
Because,
have him all, but I think it's been implied that he wasn't using it prior,
yeah, that's what I'm
as his
saying.
character wasn't.
He says, yeah, he's like, he'll have a better defense with a ray gust, implying that they just like instinctually been using the shield instead of
Right, and
just.
that's why I thought it was really weird since Osamu does use that on his normal kit anyway.
Well, maybe he does, but like the other people playing as him won't. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because
yeah.
because these units reflect their try-on levels in general. So whoever's playing as Osamu, and Osamu has been playing the game, so whoever's playing as Osamu is probably using.
Oh, right. He probably doesn't. Right. Oh, he hasn't been.
I don't think he's been doing the special assignments and whatnot.
Okay.
So yeah, they get off the phone with Kodera, and they get a call from Utagawa squad, which is where Yuma is currently, and he basically just straight up offers an alliance, and they're like, cool. Urishima's looking at Yuma, is just like, it looks like you're the one worrying about your squad mate. He's like, nah, it just seems like allying with Osamu could net us some wins. Never a bad idea. Never a bad idea to ally with Osamu, to be honest.
With Smarties McSmarts.
Smarty McSmart glasses. So, yeah, Sua's basically like, so what's the final piece of this puzzle, this cheese strategy you got? And Osamu explains, like, hey, we have 3 captains. That's a unique quality that nobody has on their squad. We have 3 whole captains on here. And he's basically like, we found out that the initial exchange is the key to winning the match. We have like a feeling of that. And whether or not a squad emerges from that initial exchange in the lead damage-wise, as Ogi suggested, all depends on the teamwork and getting skills working in tandem. And Mizukami already found a good way to go about that. And basically, he's like, Mizukami circumvented the idea of teamwork necessarily by handling it all on his own. So he is in complete control of all the units. He doesn't have to coordinate with people, and that's why he's done so well. Katori mentions, like, well, that's not very feasible right now because the number of units go up every day. And Osamu's like, well, yeah, it would be a lot of work for one of us to do. But if all the captains on this squad split up the work and each handled 3 squads of units, then it could be a lot easier. Not saying that we'd be on Mizukami's level necessarily, but we'd have a better shot of doing that because we'd be able to, because we're used to coming up with complex strategies involving different skill sets, and in theory that should work within this game. Because everybody else like say they use other people that are not captains in general to as an example, they only know how they operate. You know, like a sniper is not going to necessarily know how to work an attacker unit. But captains like Suwa, Osamu, they kind of know everybody's job. They kind of know the ins and outs of most of the positions, and they're able to get the most out of as many diverse things as they can. So if they can do it, then it could work out pretty good. And there's no way to know till tomorrow, basically. So,
Right.
you know, they kind of table it. They know what they're going to do. They're probably going to split the battle sims between the three captains. And yeah, that's where we leave off with that. The next day rolls around and we cut over to Mizukami, who is noticing that he now has more units to handle. And that's when that's when he walks out into the room and he's like, all right, my valued squad members, there's something I must tell you all. And we already know it's about to pop off as we move on to chapter 228, the away mission test part 25. And this chapter is a lot of dialogue, a lot of argument. But basically, Mizukami comes clean here. And he explains that I've been doing the battle sims this entire time by myself. So I think today we should change plans and we'll all play the game together. And Teruya is just hearing about this and she is pissed. She's like, wait, what are you doing? Because the other squad members are just kind of accepting of it. OG squad being on Ikoma squad. What's his face? Kashio being on OG squad kind of is used to this kind of behavior because OG himself is kind of crafty and a little underhanded. So he's kind of used to just being like, all right, I guess we're doing that. And of course, Arafune already knew this whole thing. So
yeah.
And, Mizukami's like, you ain't willing to accept it, little Miss Teruya? And she's like, fucking no. And at that moment, Maki, one of the A rank people, immediately gives her -1 points. Basically, her reasoning being like she understands where she's coming from and her feelings of it, but now's not the time to have an outburst about it and argue about it because they just got a whole ton of work and doing this whole thing will only hold them back. It's better to just get on with it and talk about it later. And we cut back to the argument at hand. Mizukami's like, I chose everybody here because you guys are smart. I wanted you guys to focus on the universal and delegated assignments so that, and that's like kind of one of the reasons that we've been able to go ahead and I could just do the battle sims by myself because I can. And that pretty much pushed us along, if I didn't do that, we wouldn't be where we are. I had no reason to not play it that way. So yeah, Teruya is like, well, if you had such strong reason, why didn't you just explain it to us? Why keep it quiet? And Mizukami is like, because I didn't want to have a discussion about it. I didn't even want to fucking talk to you guys about it. If I said I'm doing it alone, you guys would not have gone along with it. There would be an argument and, he'd have to, there would be just like a bunch of reasons not to do it. And by not telling them, he circumvents all of that. And he just gets to do that and they get to get a high success rate. And that's it. It's not a waste of time. He knows that this is the plan. This is the best way to go about it, regardless of feelings. So that's why he did what he did.
Right.
And he's like,
people have pride,
Yeah.
He took that into account.
Yeah, and he's like, in that case, then why are you obsessed with scoring well here? I believe that this squad could perfectly achieve a perfectly good score through standard tactics. And Mizukami is like, well, I don't really have anything else to offer you guys. And he's like, I have a responsibility to send people with something for their efforts. Basically, the higher we score, the more money we get. And the higher status we get in Border. The score is what really matters here. and the money. So Teria is just like, well, now you fucked us up because now like your scheme is backfired. Now none of us really know how to play the game all that well, and we all have to learn today now. And Mizukami's like, what? You guys can do it. I picked you guys because you're smart. I wouldn't have picked you if you couldn't handle this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, not that he's got to be the captain for Ikoma squad. He's the low key captain.
Yeah, he's the shadow captain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's like, anyway, that's all I had to say. Explanation's over. Any other demands? And we cut over to damn, I forget this guy Fuyu. I know this is the second A rank squad, and they're like, oh, so Mizukami really like stuck to his guns, huh? And yeah, basically everybody's just waiting on bated breath to kind of like hear Teria's response, and Teria's just like, but she's like, fine, but could you say please? And he's like, please? He's like, why would? And she's like, I get it. I know I'm being obnoxious, and of course I do it, even without a direct request. But there's something about it when someone asks me to please do something for them that lights a fire in my soul. And, I guess like that endears people to Teria, and she gets a bunch of points.
Yeah.
Cute little moment, I guess.
Bing, 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 bing.
Ding, 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 ding. And yeah, basically everybody's on board for Mizukami's new plan. And then we cut over to Suwa's squad, and Osamu's just thinking, doing his Osamu thing, just thinking. And he turns over to Suwa, and he's like, Suwa, I've thought of something regarding the universal assignments, but I'm not sure if it's against the rules or not. And they're like, ooh, something sneaky coming along? And that's where the chapter ends for the month, unfortunately. But Josh, what did you think of World Trigger chapters 227 and 228?
A pair of excellent chapters, and you know what, Hunter x Hunter, you can hold it down because World Trigger is almost on par with how dense their chapters can be. The second chapter, I'll just say I like the first chapter a lot more than the second, and that's because of the ideas they thought about for with Mukumo introducing the idea of the captains kind of creating their own squads and doing what they feel is comfortable. I want to go back and kind of see two things. One being the what the rules are and how the game operates. I know it's not turn based, but you get it one turn per. You get one move per. I forget how it's built. How it's put together.
You get like 6 turns in a battle. And you have to I guess beat your enemy in that time. Because they're like action tokens, I guess.
That's it?
Something like that. I also don't remember all that well. This is a monthly series.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Regardless, I think I'm surprised they didn't think about this sooner. And I don't think it even has anything to do with them being captain. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me retrace. The first thing like that I repeated, I actually forgot what the first one is. The second point I wanted to make was that within the captains. Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I need to just regather my thoughts. I was surprised they didn't already do this. All right, considering they're they're already captains, but I don't understand what they're controlling. You know what I'm saying? Were they only controlling their own units? No, because the Mikumo was on doing a special assignment, not participating. People were using his units. So it's just weird. I don't know what they were doing before. Weren't they already divvying up the characters? Did they of them have the presence of mind to formulate a strategy? Whatever. I'm not really being critical because I'm just speculating. what the thought process was.
No,
Like
okay.
what they. I'm really interested in what they're gonna do differently. That's basically what this all comes down to. He's talking about the first turn being the most effective thing. So what is it they gonna do? Take turns executing a certain play? If all three of them are gonna be doing their own thing? I don't know. It leaves a lot for me to think about. This is definitely a chapter I'm gonna read a couple more times. And like I said, I think it might do all of us a favor to go back and start reading from the beginning of when they start talking about the battle sims
I could
for
explain
the
a little
next
bit.
chapter.
What they mean by that is that, like, in theory, you can like Mizukami has proved that you can either control everybody's units or divvy them amongst the team so they could all play, or some of them could play. Uh, all that stuff. It could very much well be that. The difficulty is that you're given more units with each passing day, so it becomes harder to manage on your own. Mizukami was able to do it all this time because he's just nice like that, but now he's reached a point where he cannot control all these units on his own. He can't manage all of these characters on his own.
Mm.
In terms of Osamu's team, Osamu wasn't very good at the game. He also lacked Tryon, so that was the thing. His units are particularly weak. He can't really expend a lot of Tryon per day, so he was best served doing the special assignment and any other universal assignments that needed to be done for the test, while the others played the game. But now Osamu is pitching that they divide through the units that they have coming into the next day amongst the three people on the teams that are captains, while the others, I guess, deal with the special assignment or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of the purpose there, I guess. That's been the vibe for Sua's squad. I don't know if that made sense to you, but that's how I understood it.
No, I guess I think it like you and I guess kind of like I said already, they weren't really going into the situation thinking that, and again that had to do with the fact that they were gaining units. So now they're at a point where it makes a lot more sense for multiple people to have these small groups, whereas before, I guess before they had a different mindset. This is all interesting stuff. Makumo's one of those captains, so if he's really going to participate in the battle sims, if he wasn't before and now he is, this should be really cool. Otherwise, I don't have any more thoughts. I feel like I'm dragging it out. As for this being a dense chapter, and as much as I love these, I don't really have much more to say. I want to see where this goes.
Yeah. Brian, what did you think about these chapters?
Honestly, I don't have much more to say aside from what you guys said.
Mm.
I think it was a pretty cool idea to have all three captains kind of do their own thing, and then have what's the sniper's name?
Oki.
Have Oki be kind of like a sniper advisor to some extent. But yeah, I thought,
Or just control them outright.
yeah, I think that was I think this was a pretty cool solution, very Osamu-esque. And now the new rule set kind of benefits them doing this style because there's more units in play. So having them spread out responsibility probably works a lot more in their favor. Mizukami, right? That's the guy who was commanding all his units by himself.
Yep.
I really, really liked what they did with him that chapter. The way that he kind of came out, told them, and then stood his ground and kind of assured his team was really interesting. You don't see that very often, where usually mangaka would probably use this moment to create some turmoil, but instead it kind of solidified the team a little bit more, surprisingly. So I thought that was pretty cool, and that put some more respect on Mizukami for me. I was like, oh wait, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to lead a team. Um, so I'm looking forward to seeing what more we could get from him in the future of the series. I think he strikes me as a little bit of a Shikamaru kind of character for some reason. I don't know why. When he talks, he reminds me of Shikamaru. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what he does in the future.
Nice.
That's all my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was super interesting what was going on. This was a great couple chapters. You know, like Brian said, I feel like a lesser writer would just kind of like use this moment to, I guess, give Mizukami some kind of comeuppance. But the fact of the matter is, Mizukami wasn't wrong. It may have been just like a more haphazard way of doing things, but he got results and he did what he had to do for his team, and he wasn't doing it maliciously. He actually did it out of a sense of responsibility. Like, he wanted to help these people because he knew they weren't necessarily aiming for the away mission, but he knew that doing well in this test would bode well for them in Boulder overall. You know, you get like a lot of money for this stuff and participating and getting ahead. So I respected him on that level. It makes me think about how he's going to tackle like the actual battle stage of this exam. So I'm very excited to see Mizukami's growth and development from here. But I don't have much more to add. Osamu doing Osamu things is always awesome. I'm very excited to see how he, I guess, talks about the universal lessons. One thing I did want to point out in terms of the Osamu stuff of this World Trigger coverage is there's a moment where he references the special assignment as, I guess, a point of inspiration for him for thinking about the initial attack and the numbers disadvantage. And I think it would be so very smart if like these universal assignments and these special assignments are actually like hints to kind of acing the battle sims. Like they kind of go hand in hand in that way. I think that would be pretty dope because if the special assignments lead to answers in the battle sims, I think that would be very interesting. That's what I'm saying here.
Right, there's some type of synergy there.
Yeah, because he said that he was like thinking about the answer he gave for the special assignment being the numbers disadvantage and how that led to him thinking, oh, what's important here is to really strike big in the first exchange of these whenever you encounter someone. So, yeah, I really like that a lot, and I hope that was what they were going for, essentially. But yeah, that's it. I don't got nothing else more to add. We're in the home stretch now, so that was World Trigger, pretty good. If there's no more rebuttals, I suppose we should move on. Yeah. All right, then let's go. Black Clover. This is Black Clover, chapter 343, Black Clash. Last we left off, Ichigo was popping off about Yami, about how Yami is basically Itachi now, and Asta
Clan slaughterer.
Yeah, he couldn't sit by that. So now they're getting into a fight. Ichika has revealed her cool dark your jutsu armor. Asta pulls out his Devil Union, and he's pretty much going all out in this battle. So they're fighting left and right. They're kind of exchanging blows for a while. I won't like go into the super particulars of this battle, but it's pretty cool. There's a lot of really cool 2-page spreads, and the artwork is pretty stellar for this. So Ichika remarks that they're basically in terms of sheer Yojutsu and magic, they're pretty much equally matched. The only difference between them now will be how well they can use Zetten. And as they're about to do this cool Zetten slash, Asta's like, I figured it out. I think I know what I'm gonna do. They clash, but Ichika just like kicks him down. And she's like, as if there was any way you could outmaneuver me in a Zetten exchange. You have no fucking resolution, no convictions, no real skill, even.
Damn, bitch, you don't even know this nigga.
He's like, how could someone like you ever become someone like that? And she's like, I can feel your ki, your anger at Captain Yami. But there's more than that in your heart. And you can feel that in her mind. She's thinking, shut up, Baka. As they clash one more time to decide it all. And as they're about to clash, that's when the Shogun guy, Ryuyu, pulls up, blocks both of their attacks in a cool way. Asta slashes.
A Kashi Sasuke kind of.
Yeah, something like that. And he's like, that's enough, you two. At that point, Ichigo's like, oh, I'm sorry, Lord Ryuya. I'll slash open my stomach in apology. And he's like, no, stop. Don't do that.
Ew.
Ew.
Gross.
And Asta, he's like asking Asta, you all right? And Asta's like, I completely lost that one. I couldn't use Zetin back there. And he turns over to Ryu and he's like, I'm sorry, is your arm okay? He's like, it's all right. Let's go over to Fumito's. He'll fix us up and make us some food. And then at that moment, he feels the spiritual pressure. And he looks up and guess who's back. It's some paladins have pulled up to the land of Sun, and that's where the chapter ends. Oh, most prominently, the sister is there, and she's pulled up. But
what archetype of character? All right, that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, Josh. What did you think about Black Clover chapter 343?
I'll get back to her. Next fight. She is absolutely on the same level as Asta. She could have beaten Lucifero probably with the assistance of Yami. It's good to know these things. I don't know when's the last time Asta got kicked in his fucking forehead. But I know he felt that.
Oh yeah.
I liked how she used those black suns and moved around and stuff. She's not, she ain't no joke. Like, I respect her gangster. It's just that, like, oh, what's up, Asta?
Come on, Asta.
You went through a lot of hardships to lose to this.
You've done so many
girl
push-ups
from the land of the sun. Her Jujutsu Kaisen isn't that great. Like, you can do this. Anyway, back to what I was gonna say initially. What archetype does sister fall into? Okay, I'm having a hard time figuring out of like bad guy. Is she the nothing's that big of a deal type? Not really. Kinda. She's like a cousin to that. It's
it's not really
like,
her, right? She's a paladin now. It's not necessarily.
Well, that's what I'm addressing right now. What we're looking at. She's like she's a puritist. That's what I'm going to call it.
A puritist?
Yes.
I don't know if that's a word.
She sees the world. She sees the world as just an easy mode game, but also joy. You know what I'm saying? Because she has so much confidence that she would never lose. All she focuses on is the happiness and joys of things around her. Because she never has to get serious.
Yeah,
that's her archetype, and we know we've seen those before. It's the happy ones, the kitty ones.
Mm-hmm.
Until they get serious.
Serious.
Oh my god. I can't wait to the point in my life where I get serious.
Yeah, same. I haven't used my full power in a really long time.
Oh, man.
I can't wait to get serious myself.
I haven't had to get pushed in that in so long.
No, never. All right.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't have any more thoughts. Oh, look at the guy on the left with the halo. Oh, they all have halos. Well, look at him. He's or she, whatever that thing is.
I know his archetype. He's like the I want to fight and have fun.
Yeah, the goon.
Fights are fun. He's
The
the goon.
reckless goon.
Yeah, he's the reckless goon.
Sadistic reckless goon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just want to fight. I don't care about anything else.
Nah, nah, nah,
Yeah. And then they go on the right, he's
Yeah, he's the stoic.
super serious, but probably the most ruthless too.
Yeah. All right.
Like you'd rip your arms up and shove them down your throat
He's
and your ass.
he's
and
the
turn
one.
you to a shish kebab.
He's the one with conviction.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well.
he's the first king,
Yeah.
the first prince.
Yeah. Brian, what did you? think
Oh,
about
who's your favorite prince? Oh, I'm sorry. We
Prince.
got it. I should have did this during World Trigger, but I mean
Hunter
Hunter x Hunter Derp. But
I don't know
favorite
yet.
prince, guys.
I don't know yet.
Seven Sis.
Benjamin's
before.
nice with it. His power's cool. The first prince.
He's not a prince.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
Yeah, he
what's his power?
He
That
has
he can wrestle bears.
no. he already came into this knowing Nen. He has the ability that when he has the ability to take the powers of his people that swore loyalty to him when they die. So when they die, their abilities become his.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's what that big thing does. That shit.
No, that's just his Nen
That's on his
beast.
shoulders. Oh, that's separate from his.
Yeah. He already came in knowing and having Nen.
Right. Oh, I thought he was just like an enhancer, but he also has other cool abilities. Anyway, Brian, what did you think about Black Clover this week?
I'm still.
Seahawks.
I think it was pretty cool that Yami's sister kind of showed him who's boss. Honestly, I feel like the Lord guy feels more like a relative of Yami's than she does, just by like looks alone. But her skill set is no joke, and I could see how it's kind of similar to how Asta's skill set might be.
Yeah.
Given the whole dark armor thing and stuff like that, I feel like Asta is probably gonna yoink that idea.
They're both orphans too.
Yeah, they have a lot
They
in
have
common.
equal orphan strength.
Equal
I think-
orphan strength.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that the what's her name, the sister showed
Ichika.
up? That's the sister, right? At the end?
Yes. Wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's the sister. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
his
surprised-
mother, but his sister.
Yeah, the sister,
also a
the nun.
stranger.
I don't think she has a name.
Yeah, that's why I said the sister. I'm surprised that she showed up at the end here. I feel like it's kind of soon for her to be kind of a character that gets resolved. Do we know who those other two guys are?
No, they're new. Or at least as far as I remember.
I was like, I do not remember these guys in my read through.
That being said, like Lucius turns people into these things. So they could be people we know. But I just don't recognize them right now.
I don't know. The sister still looks recognizable.
She's a sister, a mom, and a paladin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, those are your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah. Looking forward to next week. I know I've been saying that a lot today, but I feel like most of the chapters today, aside from One Piece, were kind of self-explanatory. Oh wait, never mind. Most of the chapters were either self-explanatory or extremely too self-explanatory.
Yeah. I really like this chapter. I don't mean this in a bad way, but this chapter gave me big Bleach vibes. This was a very Bleach entrance for the Paladins, to be honest. It's always like this, They're doing something and then they're
a trope.
they're interrupted by the bad guy group just standing in the skies above them and just being like, "It's time to go to battle." Honestly, I don't hate that about Bleach. It's always it was always cool.
Those
when
are always the best times.
yeah, it always was cool when that happened, when they were just like chilling and then all of a sudden they get the spiritual pressure, like
Bro, the crazy thing is I'm not even being like sarcastic right now. That shit used to be lit.
Yeah, you knew it was a problem when the speed lines came down. You knew that shit was about to get popping.
Oh, someone stronger than me is around.
What is the spiritual pressure? And that happened on a smaller scale with Ryuya. But yeah, it was cool.
Did
to see.
Aizen ever try? Anyway,
I don't think he's tried once.
I don't think he ever actually did.
No, but
He's still waiting for the moment to try.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got a smirk on his face though.
yeah. The only other thing I have to say is that, and I've said it before, but the art, Tabata's artwork is just so good these days. You know, he's gotten so much better as an artist. He's like most improved of the series that we cover. I feel. Not that his art was ever bad, but like he's got such cool artwork. Ichika has such a cool design in this mode.
Very Bushido samurai.
Yeah, cool shadow Bushido samurai. I respect.
I'm sorry, Japanese listeners and fans of the culture. I will never say that again.
But in any case, yeah, fun chapter overall. Cool battle. Artwork's fantastic. Bleach vibes all around. I'm very excited about it. Looking forward to next week. I don't have much else to
Yo,
say.
if Tabata ever pulls up and smacks the shit out of you, bro, for saying that about his manga and relating it to Bleach, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't be there for you and like all in return fire or nothing like that. But I would after we jump that nigga, after the fact, I'd be like, you had that coming.
I don't think so. I don't mean it as an insult. I think it's a good thing. I'm comparing them to the better parts of Bleach that do exist. There are good parts to Bleach.
What if I said one of your projects reminded me of Bleach? How would you feel about that?
Oh, a massively successful series? I'll take it.
That's what you think, Chris.
It is massively successful. Anyway, let's get into our last series. Black Clover, great chapter. Undead Unluck. This is Undead Unluck, chapter 134. If you're the you that I knew. If you're the you that I knew. Last we left off, the new loop has started in 1972. The first person that Fuko has visited was Ano, who is the unknown negator. And basically, she reveals that her plan in general is to save all of the negators before they collide with the tragedies that turned them into negators in the first place. The first one being No touching the G pen and activating his unknown ability, which basically erased him from existence, so to speak. Like, he would be invisible against his will forever. Nobody would ever find him. And that's his ability. So, you know, she saved him from that. So good for you, Fuko. And she revealed that her next step was going to Nico. This was way before Nico joined the Union and all that stuff, met his wife. So, you know, he's not gone through the tragedy of losing her yet. And she's basically going to recruit Nico. He's like, hey, let's slay God together, Mr. Nico. And Nico's like, no. He closes the door.
I'm good off that, little girl.
Yeah. So Fuko uses the UMA. I forget the name of the UMA, but she opens the door, basically forcibly letting herself in, and she explains the story up to now for the most part. And Nico's like, I don't want to believe this shit. The answers, the rules that scientists of yesteryear dedicated their lives to uncovering are being rewritten at a whim of some lousy god. It's bullshit.
Right.
And he's like, I'm a scientist, and therefore I'm an atheist. I don't even believe that shit. And Fuko's like, well, it's true. I mean, you know, I don't want to. We got to do it. I figured that if you were the Mr. Nico you knew, I would say that. And she was like, and Nico's like, don't tell me I was your boyfriend or something. He's like, no. No, what made you think that? Is like, I mean, you look awfully happy to see me and stuff. I just assume. But I'd only been interested in someone who's got an intellect to match mine, and I don't want any kids either. But Fuko knows, dramatic irony. He has both of those things. So
Yeah.
Nico basically asks her to explain her plan, and the idea, of course, as we know, is to basically stop the tragedies that will eventually manifest the abilities of her allies.
I can't believe I called that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
yeah. And
Not for being right, but that's the case. Anyway.
yeah. And she reveals that the next person that they're going to save is Gina from all the way back at the beginning of the series, and the Unchanged Negator. If you don't remember, Gina's ability is to halt the change of anything, meaning that she can basically stop movements. She can freeze things in the air, including air itself. She just prevents any form of change happening, whether it be movement or otherwise. And she's like,
Hey.
we'll just keep going and we'll save everybody one after another. And I needed to start with you because you're the only person who would believe and cooperate with me. So what are you gonna do? And Nico's like, I want to ask one thing. I'm part of a group, right? Even if I was part of a team before, you could have found any scientist, but you came to me. What kind of negator do I become, and what tragedy is awaiting me? And Fuko's actually like starting to think about like the consequences of probably change of telling Nico and what would happen. So she's like, I if Nico were to know what happened to him and be forced to suffer due to Unforgettable, Nico would probably distance himself from Ichiko, so none of that stuff comes out. He doesn't become the Nico that he needs to be. And she's like, I can't tell you, but And she's like, what? You can't tell me the bad things that are in store for me, but should I come up with plans to prevent everything? And you're telling me that I should keep helping you until the time comes? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
I need you to suffer, bro.
Yeah, and I need you to trust me. And well, not necessarily suffer. She's like, look, there's going to be a time where I'll tell you everything. When the time comes, but it hasn't come yet. It just simply hasn't. If Nico knew that all the stuff that's about to happen to him, he would avoid Ichiko in general, and they need her. So, he can't let it happen. She can't let it happen. And she basically promises him, is like, hey, if you go along with me and you just give me your trust, I'll ensure that you're the happiest you've ever been in any loop. And Nico just like is taken aback, and he's like, I must have had a pretty rough life. She's like, yeah, you did. Your life was pretty rough. It was pretty terrible. So she's like, so Nico's like, all right, so Unchanged, how do we save her? And Fuko's like, well, negator abilities can't be stopped from manifesting in general. Unknown was a special exception because God intentionally imbued the G-Lantern pen with Unknown to prevent the key strategic info stored within it from leaking out. So that's why Unknown was able to escape being a negator. But Gina's ability cannot be stopped. Tragedy is bound to stop her. So, she explains that in 1972 Soviet Union, Gina will unconsciously activate her ability, making the air around her unchangeable and basically suffocate her entire fucking village.
Jesus, 40,000 people.
Yeah, not great. So, Fuko says that in order to prevent this tragedy, she needs Nico to make this psychopod, which is basically a device to stop the spread of Unchanged's air, an invention from the future. And that's where the chapter ends. Josh, what did you think of Undead Unluck chapter 134?
Well, I was very happy reading this chapter again because of what I said earlier about that they're really going through it, bringing every single person back. I don't know how much attention each character is going to get, but this is enough for me personally. Man, I don't. Fuko's emotional states don't get tired to me. Even when I hear myself slightly on an echo, probably because Brian's gate is open or something like that. But regardless, it's just when she had that panel where she's saying, "I'll ensure that you're the happiest you've been in any loop." I don't know. That kind of got to me. Like, she's so sincere in what she wants to do. And now it's not just somebody being sappy. She watched all her friends die already. This is, this is confident emotion. I like what I'm seeing here from Fuko as a character. I think this is low-key the best part of the series. Fuko developing more. What do they say they're going to do for Gina? What's the plan?
They're going to basically
device to stop the spread of Unchange's air, an invention from the future.
Yeah. Basically, they're going to try to prevent her from suffocating her entire damn city or wherever she's from.
Yeah.
Well, pretty dark.
Good luck.
Good luck. Well, it is unluck, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm of the same mind. I think this is such an interesting way to go about the series going forward. I think it's a very unique way of going about it, and Fuko's growth is just so much so. She's not like just kind of like a passive character anymore. She's actively trying to do shit, and I respect that. I love that she's like doing this whole get the band back together thing. I'm not sure how detailed it'll be, but I'm hoping that it will be pretty detailed. I think it's just like not viable to repeat this process with every single person at length, but I'll take as much as they can give. I'm excited to see how this is executed going forward. It is funny that we're starting with Gina because she's the negator in the union that we spent least time with. So
yeah,
because she dies pretty early. So I'm excited for what comes next with Undead Unluck.
She was a welcome mat for the union, essentially.
Basically. So yeah, excited. Unique concept. Not foreign to Undead Unluck. But those are all my thoughts. Josh, do you have any rebuttals? Anything you wanted to add?
Aside from what I said earlier, no, not really. Akane Banashi, do you read that?
I didn't read it this week yet. It's a good series, though.
Save Gina.
Anyway.
Please.
All right. With that being said, that was Undead Unluck. And that has been our show.
Shoha Shoten. That's another good one.
Yeah, that's another good one.
I'm caught up on that now.
Nice. I'm actually behind on it. Anyway, yeah, this show has been a long one. Thank you guys for bearing with us. Next week will be slightly easier. We won't have as much stuff. So tune in next week. But I hope you enjoyed what we gave you. 8 series in a row.
Yes. Damn, I can't believe we used to do this. All the time.
Oh man, that's when we used to cover Marvel DC regularly. So I can't imagine doing that this week. But in any case, thank you guys so much for listening. As per usual, you could find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Josh at JD Cole on Instagram. At New Jump City Josh on Twitter, Brian at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. He also plays video games on Twitch at twitch.tv/It's Punchline. Email the show itself. Oh wait, follow the show at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. I'm still trying to figure out the poll situation because we get, you let us know how you guys like it. If you prefer to answer questions, answer the poll on Twitter or on the YouTube channel. I feel like the YouTube channel gives us a little bit more options, and also it's directly to our subscribers, but yeah, let us know. Follow us regardless. Do all that stuff. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about, and yeah, we'll get back to you eventually. We still got a backlog of questions, but please keep sending them as you think of them. We will get to them eventually. You can subscribe to us on our YouTube, please. That would be super cool. Subscribe if you like the show. That is Josh's cat, Coco. Very adorbs. I wish I could get my cat on here, but she's deathly anxiety ridden. She wouldn't like me carrying her. But anyway, subscribe to our YouTube. Give us a like, give us a share, comment underneath it. Let us know what you guys think about the show, the chapters that we talked about, whatever it is. Do all that stuff. If you prefer audio podcasts, we're pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pandora, anywhere you think, we're on there. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it for the show. Thank you guys so much, as per usual. And we'll see you guys next week. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Peace.
Peace out, guys.